Hello everyone and welcome back to the Creator Series. We've just had our first ever F2 Creator Series race. What a thriller it was, both the feature and the sprint race, with Rob coming up on top and starting to lead the championship. But of course now we focus on the F1 Creator Series Season 5 2024. It begins here right now and I am Gareth Allen. Joined alongside me tonight is Kieran McGinley. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Gareth. It's great to be back in the box and a great way to start off a year of commentary. I'm so looking forward to this one.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely mega. We've had all sorts of driver change-ups, and we also have new commentators in. Of course, TK and Saputron did a fantastic job just before. W's in chat for them. They had an absolutely fantastic run, and great to have more broadcasters part of the team. But talking about our ever-expanding team, we have someone who's been on before, and let's bring him in. It's Nathan Walker. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited. First stream of 2024. Excited, of course, to be part of round one of season 5 of the Creator Series. And yeah, looking forward to it. China's definitely going to be an exciting track, as we saw in F2 earlier on.
And how can people get involved and send stream clips for you for playback out on the broadcast today?
Well, of course, I'm on Clipbook today, so if you have any exciting clips that you see of your favourite streamers in F1, you can send them into the Creator Series Discord, !Discord. It will always help me out, and if your clips get featured, I'll make sure to mention your names and who found them for me. And if you see any exciting things, you want to put them in chat, I'll also be looking at that and relaying it to my wonderful commentary duo of Gareth and Kieran. So yeah, !Discord in the Twitch chat, and you can put your clips in the Clips channel.
Well, I tell you what, let's go over to the lineups that we have this season, Season 5. This is what we're looking at. So you'll notice Mercedes, McLaren, those two driver pairings have switched. The French have moved on to McLaren, and the Mercedes of Racing, the Mercedes drivers of Racing Shai Michihori, of course, at McLaren last year. We have some new faces at the likes of Nogueira, and also Dave Gaming. Dave Gaming not actually racing tonight, but he will be here. But also Tom97, very, very dangerous in the Alpine. Only ever been a reserve in the Creator Series, and people have always asked, where's Tom97 tonight? Where's Tom97 tonight? Well, he's going to be in it as much as possible this season and could be going for a championship charge. 3 wins last season, 7th place he was. Kieran, could he be taking a championship charge here?
You'd be a fool to sleep on Tom97, especially as he looks to try and go through this season full time and try and get his hands on the Season 5 trophy and join the illustrious list. Of course, he's got to go up against Meraki, our holding title challenger, staying with Williams for this season. He'll be keen and eager to make it back-to-back titles. What about Tom, though, in the Alpine, though? A past champion of Creator Series. He'll want that title back.
Yeah, absolutely. But I tell you what, we can already throw straight over to qualifying, because here we are onto the straight. We have the Intermediates Championship, of course, in the Creator Series. And it is this driver here, Dirk Chocolate, out on into straight away here at the start of this session and gunning for it. He won't be the first car over the line, though. That will be indeed an Aston Martin of Safso on the lap here.
Yes, it will be. So Safso will be the first to get that Inters lap on the board. And of course, these are valuable points to add to the championship as well. You know, it's just started out as we get the Inters to make sure all the setups right. We've turned it into a championship now.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is 1 point for the person who goes fastest on Inters in Q1. Now, that will be, if it's raining, if it's dry, whoever has the fastest time on the intermediates will get the point. So if it goes dry to wet, but someone sets their time on Inters at the start, they'll be getting the point from those wet drivers. But we don't have any kind of wet weather today, and it looks clear for the forecast. So we are expecting dry conditions here in China as Safso pushes through and puts the first lap in of 2024.
Yeah, making his way now towards the third sector, through in towards turns 11 and 12. There's so much undulation on this circuit as well, and it has been missing from the F1 calendar entirely, of course, since the COVID-19 pandemic. We're yet to see it back. Hopefully it is back next season. But we're enjoying it right now as Safso riding over the shoulder, making his way now down towards the hairpin, the heaviest braking point on the circuit, down towards turn 14. A definite overtaking point. We saw that in F2 earlier on tonight, but here comes Safso then making his way around the final corner.
Yep, out of turn 16 he goes, across the timing line, and it will be a 1:37.410 to kick us off. Is anyone going to go quicker than that? Dirk Chocolate, he was on a lap, and he still is on a lap, hasn't invalidated, got the AlphaTauri just ahead. Just going to be keeping him a little bit slower maybe there as he comes through turn 16, and he goes way wide around the final corner. Doesn't invalidate his time, so a cheeky little corner extension there, but it's still 2 tenths away from Safso, and we're yet to have those quick times come in. Razin Shai, someone who is always a hot tip for these intermediate laps.
Yeah, absolutely, as he slides his way through, as you would on the intermediate tyres, just trying to, well, of course these tyres will overheat. They don't give you a lot of grip for very long, if at all, when you first get it. But that guy Vince now goes fastest in the Inters, 1:37.084, nearly 4 tenths clear of Safso, with Infratic now goes second fastest on the intermediate tyres, 37.322. There's a couple more intermediate lap times coming in thick and fast then. I believe Alex Budd making his way now towards the final corner. What can he do now? He's on a 1:45 or so, and he's heading straight into the pit lane as Razin makes his way through. There is Alex, who makes his way back into the pit lane as Mr. Dale, he doesn't want to focus on the Inters Championship. He's focused on getting through into Q2 and does set the fastest lap time of 1:31.801.
Yeah, a very decent time there. I think that's about 2 tenths into the cut-off for Q1 in my opinion, so it's decent enough for opening Gambit. He's not really interested in that intermediate points, maybe thinks he's not going to go for it anyway, so he's left that one. But Razin Shai, super quick as always, 1:36.386, but he's a few tenths off Terrorizer. Terrorizer's put an absolutely blinding lap on the intermediates. Let's just double check that he is indeed on the intermediates. No, he's done a stinker lap on a pair of softs. So yeah, it was for Razin Shai who indeed took the intermediates lap, at least at the first punt of it.
I've never seen an opinion change on a lap time that quickly, Gareth, but we saw it here today. Yeah, Terrorizer getting that 35.5 on the board. It's still, at the moment, quicker than Hayden Gullis on the 35.6. Of course, he's just jumped from F2 straight into F1 and having a great battle with Badgerman in the feature race. Let's not talk about the sprint race too much, but he's currently third fastest in Q1.
Yeah, he had a few naughties out there in the sprint and the future race, but he will... he'll be looking for maybe a good reserve stint here in F1. Of course, dropped down to F2 because he didn't quite have the pace for the F1 throughout last season, but he's looking to get his place back. Of course, with the F2 and F1, we now have the shootout at the end of the season. The top 4 and the bottom 4 from each of the corresponding series actually go into a shootout mode to secure those final F1's positions. So that'll be super interesting to kind of see if we can improve the speed of the grid as well.
Yeah, it's a real judgment day when it comes to that point, isn't it? You've got to make sure you keep yourself out of that bottom 4 here in F1. So it just makes it that little bit more challenging. And, you know, if you can pick up a point or two in those odd races, you can really make yourself a difference towards the end of the season. Here comes then Hayden Gullis towards the line as he sets himself second fastest now, 34.966. So starting to get some lap times underneath him and just making sure that, he gets the setup all well and done. But at the moment then, Mr. Dale still fastest here in Q1 with a handful of drivers still out there.
Yeah, and one of those on the lap, just going out the pits now is Alex Budd. Ethan Woody also coming around the corner. He's reserving for Dave Gaming today, and we can go on board with his lap. He's a bit off kilter. The 2 McLarens also out there currently at the moment. M. Skyzy and Pay are the 2 Frenchmen. It's been a 1:36.666 for M. Sky Z. Is that a bad omen for him? Well, he didn't quite pit the time of Razin Shai even. He was just 3 tenths off. So decent for M. Sky Z. Let's see if Peya, his teammate, can do anything to improve on that intermediate time. We've got 9 minutes and 50 seconds left in this session. And yeah, it's interesting. Still intermediate runners. We still see people pushing for that point.
Yeah. All important point then, and yeah, as you were saying about Skyzy, 36.666 there. Yeah, playing devil's advocate would be an understatement there, but we've got Meraki meanwhile. He's making his way down towards the hairpin. He's currently on his intermediates lap then. The reigning Creator Series champion makes his way through in towards that hairpin and then getting back onto the power through that slight kink of 15. He'll make his way onwards towards turn 16. We'll keep an eye on those timing screens as we watch on Ethan Woody tackle the the latter part of the first part of Sector 3. Meraki 36.825 there. So we've had faster lap times on the intermediate tyres, so Meraki not having that bonus point.
Yep, Meraki not quite quick enough there. He's had a few intermediate championship points last season. Of course, our Season 4 champion coming in to try and defend his crown. And I think it'd be a tough call to do it with some of the racing that is being done. Ethan Woody's invalidated his lap somewhere out there, so he's coming into the pits here. And we do have Tom 97 at the moment on a pair of intermediates, absolutely sliding it through the hairpin at turn 14. And he will be super quick and looking to try and maybe snatch that intermediate points away as he looks to set up his own championship charge. And he only just goes about half a tenth away from Meraki. And yeah, a little bit further away from Razin Shai, of course. Razin Shai still proving to be super quick on those intermediate tyres in dry conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking to, it's one of those you can really use that momentum to push yourself forward into the rest of the evening. And yeah, even if you can get that 1 point on the board, it's a point more than anybody else has so far this season. You can really say, yeah, you know what, I lead the championship right now. It's always good to have someone like that. Always good to have something like that over you. As Terrorizer runs a little bit deep there in towards turn 2 and gets himself back out onto the track. Currently third fastest at the moment in the Ferrari. But he makes his way back out onto track and just looking to get some confidence underneath him, as Chesnoid Gaming announced earlier this week that he's going to be a dad, due date of the 31st of March. So huge congratulations to Chesnoid Gaming and family. We look forward to the new arrival very, very soon. He's making his way now down towards turn 14 and looking to get a representative lap time on the board in the AlphaTauri, getting that power down as he'll make his way now onwards up towards the final corner, in towards that kick of turn 16, chucking the car in and hoping you don't run too far wide on the exit. Here comes Ches across the line and goes second fastest with a 32.229.
Yep, so both those AlphaTauris have gone early on a pair of softs. And Chesnoid Gaming, absolute congratulations to you. Same due date as the birth of my son, which was last year, which is quite a quinkadink. But yeah, Chesnoid and Mr. Dale are currently leading the top of the timing screens, but I do expect the times to come down. And actually, I reckon the cutoff to be somewhere around a low 132. So, yeah, there's time to be improved. Dirk Chocolate, someone else in the sister Red Bull team who has set a time on softs out there, as we have other cars on the lap. Alex TV, he is currently running through the middle sector, through the long left-hander of turn 7. And he is on a pair of softs here. And what kind of time can he pull out? Currently not setting the screens alight in the timing tower, but we'll keep an eye on that one as he updates through the track. And yeah, I mean, it's super interesting, the Intermediate Championship, because we do have this. Do they go for an early lap on the dries and hope that they're going to just secure themselves through to qualifying straight away and have the intermediate lap right at the end, or do we have the flip of that and just get the intermediate lap out of the way? Of course, a lot of people opt for that, but sometimes you do have a late intermediate time, so that could come down still. But F1 Alex now coming towards the hairpin. He's reserving for curbs today. Of course, another driver who was in F2 not too long ago. And we'll have to adapt to a different feeling car pretty quickly around the same track. He comes around the final corner and he's going to split the timing beam, and it is going to be up into 6th position. So 1:32.358 for him.
Yeah, decent lap time there in the Williams as Nogueira comes across the line in 4th place in the Alfa Romeo, 31.835. And puts himself 4th place so far. I was just watching on for El Taco Man as well. Infratic making his way now towards the line. Then where can he go in the standings? It's a 32.309, and that puts him right now in 7th place. So we're coming towards the sort of last 5 minutes of the session. We're now within the last 5 minutes of the session. All eyes then will be on those bottom positions 16 to 20. As a driver, that's the last place you want to be in 5 minutes' time.
Yep, everyone down from 13th and below still have a fastest time on intermediates. Terrorizer obviously made a mess of his lap on a pair of softs, so he is out there again looking to improve. El Tacoman yet to set a time as he comes around the final corner, and let's hope he can do something to improve his time here, and he can, and he jumps way up the order into 11th. Is that safe though? 1:32.842 here. I think that's going to be difficult for the Haas driver.
Yeah, if there's time, he might want to have to go again. That's if he's got the tyres as well to go again as well. Mr. Dale feels he's confident of getting into Q2 as he retires from the session on a 31.801. It is 1 second faster than Al Taco Man. So, well, I'd never be one to retire early from a session. Let's just put it like that. But confident Mr. Dale fancies his way through. GB68 has set the fast lap. Oh, he did set the fast lap until Skyzy in the McLaren came along. 31.122 from the McLaren driver. Puts himself now at the top of the standings. Good lap time from one of the cars that are going into this fifth season of the Creator Series as the defending team's champion. Of course, it's the French Revolution here at McLaren this season.
Yeah, absolutely. They have moved on from Mercedes, and Meraki is down in 17th. There is 3 minutes left on the timing to go, 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and he has intermediates on at a time that would see him out. He's got to go in and out surely, and put on a pair of the slick tyres. Will he have time? That's going to be super close to the bone here.
Well, he's got to go in, then he's got to go out, and then he has to shake it all about on his lap. So he's really got to get a move on here as he darts his way into the pits, and no doubt he'll get himself onto those Red Wall soft tyres and get a lap time on the board. Because as you say, at the moment, he is being eliminated as it stands. But also onto that, we have a plethora of drivers yet to set a representative lap time on a set of dry tyres. Tom97 is making his way through in towards turn 13. He'll make his way down the back straight, and he'll be hoping to start his full-time tenure here at Creator Series on the right foot. DRS wide open now as he'll make his way down towards the hairpin of turn 14, keeping an eye on the left-hand side, then braking just before the 100-metre board then, and it's the heaviest braking zone on the circuit. Then back onto the power, then up through the gears as we then make our way through in towards the final corner, chucking it in to the left-hander of turn 16, and onwards then, keep the steering wheel as straight as possible. And was it ever in doubt, Tom97 31.448 puts himself second fastest here in Q1.
Yeah, no, not purple in any sector there, just green for all the sectors. So just a really consistent lap there to get him within 3/10 of Sky Z. The Mercedes are going nicely out there, as in Shai, one of those coming towards the hairpin now. He's in the drop zone, but we know he's quick enough to get himself out. Currently has the fastest time on intermediates. Around the final corner he goes. Can he put himself to the top of the timing screens? He can. A 1:31.096. That is a very tasty lap indeed, as the Red Bull behind starts a lap, and that's Dirk Chocolate who's just starting a lap here. So this will be his final lap here in Q1. 1 minute and 5 seconds left as we see a yellow flag shown for a slow moving car. And if we're going on Meraki watch, Meraki is indeed out there, and I think he has time to make it out, but he's gone out on a pair of Inters again. He's a champion. He doesn't need to qualify.
He doesn't need to qualify. No, we're told in chat by Jess is that he's only qualifying on the Inters. He's seeing how far he can come from starting near the back. Well, he's going to be starting P20 so long as no one disqualifies themselves. So our reigning champion has set the gauntlet down. He's ready for a last to first challenge. I wonder if the rest of the grid is.
It's an absolute ego move from him, isn't it? Absolute ego move. Thank you very much, Jess, and great to watch you in the F2 series earlier on. Of course, part of the Red Bull Academy, and showing that flag proudly as Meraki is going to be trying not to skid into front of cars that are running a lot quicker on those dry tyres. But we are going to jump those because, of course, we do have 5 cars in the knockouts here, and that's El Taco Man, Hayden Gullis, Alex Bug, Terrorizer, and Meraki. We know Meraki isn't going to improve the time, but El Taco Man and Terrorizer don't make the flag, so they are knocked out this session. Dirk Chocolate is right on the bubble in 15th here. He's going to come round the final corner. Is he improving on his lap? It looks like it is. Green for the first and second sector, over the line, up into 10th, so that could be safety for him. It is safety for him. Alex, F1 Alex, down in 15th at the moment. He could be very much under pressure from the likes of Hayden Gullis, who has just jumped up the order, and he is now way safe. He's in 8th position. Alex Budd, though, he can be quick on his day. He's currently in 18th and running through the middle sector, so this is a lap to pull himself out of this Q1 session.
Yeah, it is Ethan Woody, though, not on a lap. He went through the second sector, 29 seconds down, so he is possibly in danger. You've got Emphatic on a lap then, making his way in towards the final sector now. He's making his way through in towards turn 12 as we speak, and just making sure he feeds that throttle down then, full throttle now, halfway through turn 13. Then we've got the Williams there, I believe. That's going to be of F1 Alex, as he makes his way through in towards the final corner, currently in the drop zone. He'll make his way with the DRS wide open. Can he get himself up the order? No! F1 Alex is going to be eliminated from Q1. So now it all falls to Alex Budd in the Alfa Romeo, making the way round the final corner, currently in P18 to get a spot to check in to Q2, making his way across the line. And no, it's not enough. So Alex Budd is out of Q1.
Yeah, Emphatic does improve his time, but it's not really required anymore. Ethan Woody also out there. He doesn't need to improve his time. He can just come into the pits. But Meraki, he's had a spin through the final corner, so he won't be improving that intermediate time, and he will be starting dead last, barring any penalties that come in the following sessions. But Meraki there going for a reverse over the line, and that's one way to start off your championship fight back and your championship defence here.
Isn't it just? We'll start off on as what you mean to go on, isn't that right? Meraki, though, starting at the bottom as he wants to. Ethan Woody, meanwhile, has got into Q2. The only unfortunate thing is, though, he's out of fuel as he trundles his way back into the pit lane. So get some fuel in the car, Ethan. You've got Q2 coming up.
So that is Razin Shai, who's quickest in that session. I mean, someone who was mighty impressive last season, came third in the championship, but it was indeed the fact that he didn't actually race in the first two races that maybe cost him a chance of going for that championship. He won in Kota. He won in the final round, of course, in Belgium, iconically going into the pits as George Morgans tries to give him the full welly, and he just goes into pits and does his own thing, which was quite fun to see. But obviously the moment will all belong to Meraki, so it kind of got put under the surface there. But Razin Shai, I think, is someone who could really go for the championship here, and straight away, quick intermediate championship points secured for Razin Shai. Second, he's also top of the timing screens here.
Yeah, he is indeed. So having that little bit of momentum going forward then, and top of the table by just over 0.02 seconds then. Skyzy second with Tom97 in third place. So really good to see Tom97 pretty much on that full-time debut. In that session though, towards the bottom, the drivers we lost, F1 Alex, El Tacoman, Alex Budd, Terrorizer, and our championship, our former champion, of course, of Season 4, Meraki, electing to start from the back of the grid. We'll see how he gets on. But at the moment, Gareth, we've got a Q2 to focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. Notice that he does have the Chinese flag set. Meraki always does this thing of setting the flag of where they're racing at because he thinks it's going to bring him better luck. But he doesn't always have good luck, so I think that streak has ended. But it's a little quirk that he goes for as we go into this next session. We are going to get an interview from El Tacoman, hopefully during the next part of qualifying, just after the intermediates, just after the first runs rather of Q2. But I guess any thoughts from that first session there? Who's impressed you here, Kieran?
I mean, Razin, obviously, always going to be one to watch. Had such a strong season last time out. He's certainly one to try and go for that title again. Ethan Woody as well, booking himself into Q2. Can be very happy with that one, considering he had a bit of a little bit of a disastrous end to Q1, but a sigh of relief to get himself through there. But there's a couple of debutants here that have been doing really well. Noguera as well in the Alfa Romeo, making a way through. Tom in the Alpines. There's a clever name there in somewhere. I can't figure it out right now. But the two Toms in the Alpines also setting the timing screens alight as well. Dirk Chocolate making his way into Q2. He's had a tough time in Creator Series as of late, and he'll be hoping to start Season 5 on a much better foot this time around.
Yeah, and I tell you what, whoever behind the scenes has put both the Toms in the Alpine, a special place in hell belongs to you, because I already trip over those two, and when it's like, it's Tom on Tom action here at the Canadian Grand Prix, I'm all over the place. I'm like Tom 97 versus Tom with a B. It's not good. But now you put them both in the Alpines, it's horrendous. I'm going to fall over that so much this season.
It's going to be so funny.
Fair warning. Fair warning. It's going to be a linguistic slip. But Safso, out there again first. He's super eager to get on with it in both of these sessions so far.
And why not? He's got the pace to back it up as well in the Aston Martin, looking to get those times down early, set the marker, and then just keep trying to go under and under. I don't think he was really that bothered about the Intermediates Championship. But in the meantime, he's making his way back out onto the track, and we're getting Q2 underway very, very shortly, and he'll be making his way through Safso, as you said, the first out there, so we expect Safso to be the first lap time on the board. Doesn't always work out that way because of invalidations and such the like of corner cutting. So just because Safso's the first car out there doesn't necessarily mean it will be the first lap time on the board, but you almost want to put 2 zeros in front of that number 7 for Safso, then it really would be on brand. But the Aston Martin making its way through the final corner, and Safso making his way across the line to start the first lap of Q2.
Yep, and let's see if we can go. My little handy device has just gone and uncharged itself, which is fun. So, going through this session, we have Safso starting his lap through this long 270-degree corner that uses so much of the tyre, and he's going to be pushing here as he comes to the first sector. It's of course purple, it's the first timed lap through there, and we also have EOS battery usage on the left, 73% charge being used of course on full deploy for this hot lap on this pair of softs, and we do think it is a scrub pair of softs to start us off here as we come through the second sector. And yeah, it's very interesting that Safso out there first, because he's someone who's so consistent in the series. He's so consistent, and I'm a big fan of his. Of course, he won the first Creator Series Championship and scores consistent points. Cruelly robbed last time out in Belgium of maybe that constructors, because GB68 and Safso were of course gunning for it, but a big crash that wasn't Safso's fault of Orouge and Radion took him out of the race and basically took Aston Martin out of the constructors picture. But I wonder if GB68 and Safso want to try and kind of get something together here and rekindle the band from Season 4, which worked so well, and go for it in Season 5 and take that constructors crown and take something that they want. Because of course Safso, as he goes to the top of the time screen, has gone twice into the top, into the top of the constructors in Season 1 and Season 2.
Yeah, and Safso is clearly then an asset that you would love to have, any team would love to have. And as you said, Safso, GB68, a formidable pairing last season, and it would only make sense to expect more of the same. Maybe, if not that, we could expect to see Aston Martin looking to go one step further this season, and with their already strong driver pairing, make that the Constructors' Championship as well. But as well as that, both of them will be having one eye on the drivers' title as well. Being drivers, it's funny that they should have an eye on the drivers' title as well, and that can sometimes muddy those waters, especially when you've got two quick drivers up at the top of the field, both putting the team in a really good position. There's going to be that awkward question at the end of the day, what about team orders? And I suppose the answer to that would be, well, there are none.
Yeah, I mean, there's no team orders. You just go for it. If you decide, actually, I want that place on the teammate. We saw it last year, Tom and Hayden Gullis. I think Tom thought he was going to have an easy time with Hayden, but Hayden absolutely put up a fight against him, as we see in fact invalidate this lap, but he is indeed on a in-lap here after already setting time. Ethan Wood just coming over the line there, going up into 5th position. M Sky Z has set a super quick lap time here, and Tom 97, the only car out there on the lap at the moment as he goes down the long kilometre straight here at China.
Yeah, making his way now down towards turn 14 then, with an Alfa Romeo right onto the racing line though. Will that affect him too much? Well, he's had to take a little bit of evasive action. In fact, he's had to abandon the lap altogether as Nogueira then tried to get out of the way on the exit, but for Tom 97, he's had to abandon the lap. He'll return to the pit lane and they'll have to go again to set a lap time on the board.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a few choice words there in that cockpit, because he looked to be on a decent lap there, but yeah, he had to take evasive matters there, and that's a shame really. Tom 97 will be under more pressure towards the end of this session. But I mean, usually goes out there on a pair of hards in Q2, Q3, and just gets through. So you see him on a different time now. He's maybe changing his ethos here and changing his mentality. Of course, super quick. Tom97 is. We see him in WOR's Tier 2 being, you know, amongst some of the finest racers that we have in this game. And he's, of course, part of the Creator Series, a great part of the Creator Series, 3 wins to his name. And yeah, maybe he'll be a bit more focused and a bit more trying to get the right strategy in, to be in the right place, to pick up the points, as he is now a permanent part of the championship. As we see Hayden Gullis have a little slipstream from a Haas just ahead. I think that is the Haas of Ethan Woody, it will be. So he's getting a little bit, but he actually goes alongside them there and slows them down. Now, these two did have a collision back in Qatar, round 1 last season, but he's backed out of that one there, and after getting alongside them. Maybe a little bit of frustration, maybe that's not what he wanted, maybe Razin was going to give him the better slipstream, but Razin Shai now heading onto a lap as Dirk Chocolate starts a lap, and Peya is on the out lap.
Yeah, I thought Hayden Gullis was maybe just a little bit of a wave hello, perhaps. Maybe that was all that was. But Tom as well in the Alpine, making his way out of turn 6 almost towards turn 7. And we'll see then.
That's not a right. That's a very old teammate radio message, just so we know. That's not the right team radio message at all. That was meant to be Tom97 coming through, but for whatever reason, that's hung up. I'll have a look at that between the break. But I think we do have an interview with El Taco Man at the moment. So should we jump over to an interview with El Taco Man?
Absolutely, I think we should.
Can you drag people in, Nathan?
I see that was my cue. Gotcha.
Hello.
Taco's here with us, don't worry. I made sure. Yeah, I think
there we are. Go over to Nathan for the interviews. Hello, El Taco Man. Welcome in.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
welcome, Taco. Obviously, I just want to say I love your costume you're rocking on your stream. So if people haven't seen Taco's costume, go check out his personal stream. He looks beautiful in it, might I say, first of all.
Thank you. You know, for the start of the season, I had to do my hair and my makeup, so.
Exactly. Look, you're getting into the proper like commentary mindset of, you know, got to look good on camera for everyone to see. But no, we'll talk about Q1 a little bit there. How do you feel it went? You know, obviously, probably not where you want to be going out in Q1. Do you feel like China's maybe not one of your strongest tracks potentially?
China's one of my more consistent tracks, but to my fault, I did eat up a little too much time than what I wanted to in Q1, where I only had one hot lap and I didn't have enough time to run a second one. But right. China's one of my more consistent tracks. I'm just very scared of track limits here, so I'm very on the safer side of racing. But I definitely feel confident at China. It was my first track that I ever won a league race at, so it definitely has a soft spot for me.
For sure. So obviously with that sort of safer mindset, as you said, you know, the way that the Creator Series goes, we always end up with the safety cars. It's a given pretty much every single week that we'll have at least one. So with that safer mindset, do you feel that around China it could play to your advantage, play for those safety cars, maybe take your strategy a little bit to play into that mindset potentially?
I would say so. A lot of people are very good at really running on the limit here, but not many people are good at running side by side. So that's where I tend to shine a little bit. So through Sector 1 and Sector 2, I would say keep an eye out for me because that's where I usually make the most gains. For
sure. And quick little one just to end us off there. How do you think you're going to do in the race? Where's the aim in your current position? You know, you're starting in P17. Where are you hoping to finish it as a good sort of standard for yourself?
Starting P17, I am looking to set a maybe top 10, maybe an 8, depending on how the race goes. But for sure, I will be happy with a top 10.
Perfect. Great stuff. Thank you for that, Taco. I appreciate you coming in, giving us an interview, and good luck with the race, of course.
I appreciate it, boys. Enjoy the race, and I'll see y'all later.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, it's great to hear from El Taco there. Yeah, wish him best for the race. I think he was also part of the interview last time, but no, it may have been back in Abu Dhabi. He wanted a better race then, and he didn't have a good race. So I'm hoping we're less of a bad omen for him this time, that we've interviewed him mid-race. But meanwhile, M-Skyzy's remained at the top of the timing charts. Razin Shai has slipped into second at 1:31.243, but quite the difference between two. That's 4 attempts between the two. Tom97 has been putting in a lap, and he is just about to come past the moment what he had with the Alfa Romeo on his last lap that he had to abandon around the final corner. Will Tom97 be able to put himself near the top of the timing boards. Only up to 7th for Tom 97 there, so maybe the pressure's starting to show a little bit here in the Creator Series.
Yeah, at the moment, Tom 97th at the moment in that Alpine, but still faster than his teammate Tom, who's just outside of that cut-off point then. Ethan Woody hanging on right now to a place in Q3. Of course, we've still got the runs to go. Razanchai and GB68 both retiring from this session, so they're pleased with their laps. They think they've done enough to get into Q3. And looking down the order then, it's about 8/10 separating GB68 to Ethan Woody. So 8/10 is, well, it's not a lot when it comes to Creator Series. We saw in Q1 how quickly the lap time just got quicker and quicker. So it's a bit of a risk going that early, but in any case, they feel confident enough to just round off there. Chesnoid Gaming is on an outlap. He's on to the back straight, and he'll be ready to set a lap time very, very shortly. He's just got to be mindful of the pit lane exit when he comes back through, because he's decided to go early with what I assume will be one of the last laps, or one of his last laps. We've still got just under 3 minutes on the board. He's gone early. It might be a slightly busy pit exit when he makes his way around.
Yeah, that's absolutely good. Something he has to be cautious about here. Chesnoid Gaming coming around the final corner. Of course, he moonlighted for a few times for Dirk Chocolate over at Red Bull, but Dirk didn't lose his seat, didn't drop down to F2, and indeed cars on the exit there, being very cautious to get out of the way of the car coming through, and it was the two Red Bulls actually of that guy Vince and Dirk Chocolate keeping an eye out for their sister teammate Chesnoid Gaming. And he is coming through the first sector now, and he'll set a first sector time that we'll be able to check on. And is he improving through the first sector? My timing tower says no, so it's a bit slower through the first sector there.
So far, and it's just like to see if he can get himself into that top 10. Making his way through that S section through and towards turn 8, almost that Malaysia-esque complex we saw in the Malaysian F1 Grand Prix circuit. It's a great section, sweeping through, really tests the limit of your setup there, because of course you've got long straights, slow corners, and then you've got that sweeping S section, so you've really got to make sure your setup is top notch to a T that can handle anything this track throws at you. And now Chesno Gaming makes his way on towards the back straight, and of course with his AlphaTauri teammate right in front of him. Mr. Dale might be giving him just a little bit of a toe there, coming down in towards the final, or I should say the hairpin. Making his way now back onto the power. Is that little bit of a toe going to be enough to help out Chesnoid Gaming as he makes his way through in towards the final corner, making his way now onwards towards the start-finish line? Can he improve on the time? He does. Fourth fastest, 31.5 from Chesnoid Gaming.
Yeah, absolutely. Jumps up the board. That's great bit of teamwork between the two AlphaTauris. Mr. Dell moving over to AlphaTauri in the off-season and making it pay here straight away. Tom 97 retired from the session there, 1:31.727. Does he think he's safe? Well, he just doesn't have time to get another timeout on the board. So he's going to hope that he's safe here. But there's lots of people out there wanting to improve. You have the likes of Tom and Ethan Woody. They're just about to start their laps. Emphatic, that guy Vince, Hayden Gullis. They're all in the drop zone and looking to improve. Mr. Dale, who's just helped out his teammate massively, has also just started a lap as well. He's right on the bubble in 10th. 9th is Safso. We saw him run super early, but he'll be the first car to cross the line here. So we'll go and watch Safso as he comes around the second of the two 270-degree snails, and the banking super, super steep as he slingshots onto the straight here and waits until the DRS is open. It feels like an eternity, and you get that little bit of extra speed, hard on the brakes. Of course, too hard for Buemi back in 2010 when it completely shattered the front axle and had a dramatic crash there, but we're not going to talk about that. Around the final corner, Safso in 9th position, ideally needs to find time on this lap. Has he found time? He has, up into second. Huge track progression here, and Mr. Dale now around the final corner. We saw him work with Chesnoid Gaming. Tom 97 absolutely under pressure here. So is Dirk Chocolate. Tom 97 is on the bubble. We have the Mercedes of Hayden Gullis coming around the final corner now. Does he jump up? No, only 11th for Hayden Gullis, who's been in 2 races so far today. Ethan Woody also in the drop zone. Someone else goes up. That pushes Tom 97 down as a Red Bull of that guy Vince, who is followed by Dirk Chocolate up into fourth and fifth. And Tom now is going to be looking to maybe put more misery into Tom 97, who's out, and maybe knock out Peyo as well. Emphatic is out of this session, down in 15th. Tom does go into 10th, just through to qualifying 3 here. Peyo in the McLaren. It is not debut into the Q3 session for the Miss Peyo McLaren running. It is indeed Tom who gets through here. So Tom just nicks through there, and unlike Tom, because he's so often out in P11, but he pushes down his teammate Tom 97. That's a big shock to see Tom 97 out in this session.
Yeah, it is. Ethan Woody makes his way back into the pit lane, so he's not going to be improving as he will start 14th in the race. But yeah, huge for Tom at 97 to be out in Q2. How about the 2 Red Bulls, though? Dirk Chocolate ahead of Dak Guy Vince, 4th and 5th, going into the 3rd and final qualifying session. Chesnoid Gaming up in 7th place as well. The 2 Alpha Tauris pretty much working together and separated by 0.012 or 11 seconds, I should say. Immensely close between the 2 of them. But Skyzy definitely one to watch heading in towards Q3. A great lap time, the only driver into the 1 minute 30s.
Yeah, a superb lap time indeed. And I was expecting pole time to be around a 1:30.5. And to me, the only person who could get that at the moment is Skyz. Everyone else is just too far away. Of course, we didn't see second runs from the likes of Raz and Shine. We saw how much the track did improve. Tom 97 is out this session. I think it's between Razin and Skyz, the fight out for pole here. But I think Skyz just has that edge. Anyway, let's focus on the people who have been knocked out here. And it's Peyo, Tom 97, Hayden Gullis, Ethan Woody, and Emphatic, who are not going to be going through to Q3 here. And where's it gone wrong for Emphatic? He was so good in Season 3. Season 4, less so. And that is not how you want to start off his Season 5 campaign.
It's not at all, but he'll be hoping that it's just a springboard of what can come. Because, of course, when you're down there in 15th place, anything can happen. We see safety cars galore normally in Creator Series. So just because you've not made it through into Q3 does not mean you're outside of the points. Doesn't even mean you're outside of the rank for a chance of a podium or a win. So much can happen in these Creator Series races. He'll just be hoping, get through the first lap, and then from then on, see what else happens.
Yep, so we do have the final shootout just coming in a few moments. In chat, please let us know who you think is going to qualify pole here, who is going to take the first pole of 2024 in the Creator Series. Of course, no qualifying in F2, so that's absolutely still true to the case, even though we've already had a brilliant race, already a brilliant 2 races, a sprint and a feature race. Let us know in chat, is it going to be Razin? Is it going to be Skyz? Is it going to be someone else? Kieran, prediction, who's it going to be?
Oh, I hate it when you put me on the spot because I like the fence. If I really have to go for someone, probably Skyzy. That's probably the boring option. But I'm gonna root for Safso at the moment. The Aston Martin driver has been consistently towards the top end of the order in these qualifying sessions. I reckon he's got it in him to go one step further, get that pole position.
Yeah, a driver who absolutely raced well here back when we last ran China. That was back in Season 1, almost a year ago. And I believe he got a top 5 in that race. So it could be, double China delight for him as he comes back. But we'll jump back into the action now as we can. And who is going to be first car out there? And this time, it's not Safso. So Safso loses out the first car out race. And it is indeed Chesnoid Gaming, the first car to get out there. No, it's not. Sorry, it's Mr. Dale. I misspoke.
It was one of the the Tauris. It's all right. Mr. Dale, though.
Just go for it, don't you? Just make a guess.
That'll be fine. That'll be fine. It was an Alpha Tauri. That's close enough. Yes, Mr. Dale, then making his way then through in towards turn 10, making his way now on towards turn 11. And of course, 12 minutes on the clock then in Q3. And at the end of it, we'll find out who will take the first pole position of a brand new season of Creator Series, season number 5. Get your predictions down there in the chat. You haven't got long before we don't really close the chat for poll predictions. But if you don't get your prediction in before the first lap times come in, yeah, we won't count those votes.
You can't do a poll prediction in 10 minutes time. It won't be valid.
Yeah.
In 20 minutes time it definitely won't be valid. So anyway, we will watch Mr. Dale come round, and there's no slipstreaming to get into this session here. Both cars out there on outlaps at the moment. Starting their lap now is Mr. Dale, and he's a driver who was a bit lackluster last season. And he came out and said something in the Creative Series chat in the background. My brake's been 3% on this whole time I've been on F123. He had this new wheel at start F123. Brake was on 3% the whole time. So that had been slowing him down. And now we're going to see Mr. Dale's true pace come out into Q3. Straight first time of asking in Season 5. And the AlphaTauris and the Red Bulls looking ever so strong here in the Creator Series. You don't often see all 4 of those through into the top 10 shootout at one time as Mr. Dale comes through this long left-hander into the sharper right-hander in this middle sector, and then it's into the double left-hander of turns 9 and 10, and we'll get a middle sector split for Mr. Dale JE. He's done a 24.179 through the first sector. Second sector is, of course, fastest of all, but fastest of all through the first sector at the moment. No surprises, it's MSkyZ in the McLaren.
Absolutely. Well, we'll have to say what happens at the turn of the second lap, of course. Our first lap getting us underway, and DRS wide open now for Mr. Dale. Well, if he's 3%, if the brake was on 3% the whole time, in theory he should be going 3% quicker than what he was previously. In towards the hairpin he goes, probably braking about 3% late. You get the joke with that one. Yeah. In towards the final corner we go then, and Mr. Dale, what's the first lap time on the board going to be here in Q3? It is going to be a 32.1, of course, on a set of scrub soft tyres, but there's nothing like a little bit of a green delta time on the top right hand or top left hand, wherever you put that delta. To see it green through the whole lap is definitely a bit of a boost there. SkyZ makes his way around the final corner. DRS wide open for SkyZ. 30.5 from SkyZ. That's the marker set down from the McLaren driver.
Yep, I said pole was going to be around a 135, and there was only one man who looked like he could get it at that point, and it was MSkyZ. Razin Shai is another car who's often fast, and he has not gone purple through Sector 1 or Sector 2, so he's going to need a mega final sector to get near the top, and he only slops into third, and it's Nugiri who gets into second position, and that's a fairly slow lap time for Razin Shai. I think he'll be disappointed with that, and maybe a scrub pair of tyres to boot as well, because that is about a second away from the pace of MSkyZ, someone who is so incredible in qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. And that will go down to the fact that I think SkyZ has 2 sets of fresh soft tyres to use in this qualifying session. So it makes sense that he's so far ahead at the moment. Of course, he's retired early from both Q1 and Q2. So it makes sense that he's got himself a fresh set of soft tyres to use as he wants going through into this session. 30.5 is the time to beat those 7 minutes on the clock here in Q3. We've got Tom in the Alpine, who is on a flying lap right now, making his way out of turn 3 and through and towards turn 4. And the Alpine driver who just about crept his way into Q3, making his way now down in towards turn 6. Back on the power he will go then, and making his way onwards through in towards this sweeping S section through turn 7 and then through turn 8, which asks a lot of the tyres in these stages. Then you have to slow the car down for turn 9. Not an easy thing to do here. Get back onto the power and then adjust your speed going through and towards turn 10. And we build up through the revs, up through the gears as we then cross the beam in towards sector 3. In through turn 11 and turn 12, as Tom will get back onto the power then through in towards 12 and 13, full throttle now, and it's pretty much full throttle for nearly 20 seconds as you've got all the time in the world to think about the next breaking point of turn 14 with the DRS wide open here. We just break into 200 mile an hour, 201 topping out as Tom then slams on the brakes in towards turn 14. The slight kink of 15 awaits him, and then he'll make his way through in towards turn 16. What is this lap time going to be like from Tom as he makes his way around the final corner onwards towards the start finish line he goes? It's 4th fastest from Tom, 31.892.
Very, very decent there from Tom. And while we have all the cars in the pit and Tom supposedly on the way into the pits, I don't think he'll go for another time on those softs. Let's go over for an interview with Nathan, who you've got hold of Fabio, haven't you?
Yes, you do.
Indeed. I'm joined by my lovely friend and good pal over the last few months. We've become good friends, Fab. Obviously, I was watching your on board as you went onto that final lap, onto the final corner. I believe you unfortunately had a bit of a run wide and had your track time invalidated. Did you finally work out where you would have came on track if that time had come?
I would have done
P9?
Yeah, it would have been something around the 31.5s, maybe even 4.3s, because my banker was a bad one and the last corner was bad. So if I just had a normal last corner, it would have been enough. But I'm actually not sad about it. I'm actually happy because if I was knocked out because of pace, lack of pace, okay, then I would be mad. But it's not the case, so it's fine. It's a long race, so we're going to recover.
For sure. And you seem like a bit of a rejuvenated man of late. You know, you had that little break with F1 where you weren't really kind of feeling the game that much, and it seems like you come back. There seems to be a bit more power in your step, a bit more drive in your force. How are you feeling? Are you feeling a lot more confident?
So the break was needed. I felt burnt out, but now, like you said, I got the energy. I didn't drive. I didn't stream for 2 weeks, and I just started now Thursday, and it was weird to pick up the wheel again because I was rusty. You know, missing every single corner and no apexes, the brakes, feeling the force feedback again. But I'm slowly getting everything back, so I'm actually enjoying it. So hopefully I'm not going to be caught in any crashes.
I mean, yeah, you've had a bit of a history, especially in Season 4, where things weren't really going your way. Are you hoping Season 5 kind of turns that around and things go into your favour a bit more, potentially?
Well, we're about to see it. We're about to see it.
we're about to see. Yeah, and of course, final one before I send you on your way and back to your lovely chat. Where do you think you're going to come in this race? Obviously, it's you said that you've got the pace. There's a bit more confidence about you. Where are you hoping to come starting in P15?
Definitely aiming for a top 10, maybe top 8. Top 8 should be reasonable. It's not really pushing it. Top 8, I would say. Top 8.
For sure. Happy days. Perfect. Thank you for that, Fabio. It's always lovely to speak to you. Send you back to your chat, get you ready for the race, and get into the final few minutes of Q3. But thanks again, as always.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Lovely to hear from Emphatic. Lovely to hear that he's had a break from the game, feeling rejuvenated and hoping he can bring more pace to Season 5, because we know he's got it. He's super quick at times. And yeah, very much looking forward to seeing what he can do. There's 2 cars out there actually battling on track. And I think it is MSkyZ and Razin Shai battling for who's going to get the lap in first. But Razin Shai opting to allow MSkyZ to go through there. Would he want to stay that close behind and take the tow? I don't think he would. GB68 is out there on a lap though at the moment.
Yes, he is at the moment making his way onwards through in towards, now down towards turn 6, as he'll then get the power back on then, up through the gears. He's got the Alfa Romeo of Nogueira right ahead of him, who's currently second fastest through the snaking S section there. And, well, would GB have lost a bit of time there? Did he have to take evasive action? Well, he's certainly still on the attack through this lap we go then, through and towards turn 10. Back on the power he goes. And, of course, this was going to be an issue for him that he decided to go out so early to start his final lap. He was always going to come across a little bit of traffic here. He's now got his teammate right up with him now of Safso. So perhaps a little bit of a tow down the back straight then. Here we go then. GB68 then with the tow from Safso. Safso moves out of his way and then makes his way onwards towards the hairpin we go. So currently P7 for GB68 on his final run in qualifying. Getting the car slowed down, back on the power, up through the gears, up through the revs we go, and onwards towards the final corner. Currently P7 and fourth row on the grid. What's this lap going to be from GB? It's going to be P2. It's a place on the front row, a 30.808 from GB. Well, let's see what other drivers can do, and let's see where that will leave GB towards the end of the session.
Yeah, we have, of course, MSkyZ out there on a lap next, and he is looking to improve on his time. I think he is improving indeed as we go down the long straight and open up DRS for what will be his final run here in qualifying 3. He's already sits at the top of the timing field. Closest of people have come is 3 tenths away as GB68. That may put a little bit of pressure on him to get a better timing, but as he comes around the final corner, what is this going to be for the McLaren? Can he get pole straight away in Papaya? It is a 1:30.062. That is a sensational lap by the Frenchman Razin Shai. Can he respond? He can beat his previous time, but he can't beat his new time, still 3 tenths away, and that is showing just how sensational that lap time is. Chesnoid Gaming now next over the line in the AlphaTauri, running to the line, splits the timing beam. Does he improve? Does he heck? Up into 4th. That is a fantastic lap from him too. We are seeing great gains though as we go deeper into these sessions, and it's Dirk Chocolate out there who switched his driving style to TCAM recently and rediscovered his love for being quick in F1 23. That's a bit of a slight on him, to be honest, but Dirk Chocolate does improve up into 4th, and that's a super time from him. Safso is now up into 4th as he dunks Dirk down a place there, but Safso, a super good time from him, only 2 tenths away from his teammate. That guy Vince over the line now. Where does he go? He goes into 4th. So this is all a big trade up for 4th. Nagiri now in 4th as well. And now it's the final AlphaTauri of Mr. Dale, who improves only to 9th. Tom, the final car out there, who could improve. And he's going to come to the final corner now. He's 4.5 tenths up on his best lap time. That could put him in contention for 8th position. Up into 7th he goes. And Tom into 7th here. And I think that is the end of qualifying 3. MSkyZ is taking the first pole of the year, and by sensational pace. But look at the gap between MSkyZ, Razin Shai and GB68. They just have to measure the field, don't they?
Well, at the moment, yes. Well, certainly SkyZ and Razin Shi, just about 3 tenths separates them. And then you've got GB68 on a 30.8. Great lap time from him. And I can say that GB68 did repay the favour to Safso on Safso's lap. So there was a bit of tow to be had for Safso down the back straight. 6th place and a place on the 3rd row of the grid for Safso, 31.033. Nogueira then 4th place. Our spot on the 2nd row on the grid. And you've got AlphaTauri 9 and 10, Chesnoid Gaming 31.2 and Mr. Dale 31.5. Still pretty good stuff from the AlphaTauri drivers. They'll be keen and eager to get some points on the board as a great way to start this season. And Dirk Chocolate, great to see him back in Q3, great to see him back into the top 10. He gets himself 8th place for the start of the Chinese Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's good to see him. He's laughing. He's absolutely having a good time with it. You can see his mood on the game has completely switched in recent races, and it's honestly it's so good to see. He's off. He's going to go grab a drink, and yeah, we'll just go over the results there. MSkyZ confirmation 130.0.62. He is in first position here. Again, takes pole at the opening round like he did at Qatar last time out in season 4. Razin Shai in second. GB68 in third. And looks super good, actually, the Aston Martins. They will again be in the fight for the championship, for the constructors, certainly. Maybe the drivers. We'll see Nagiri in 4th. That guy Vince in 5th. Safso Tom, Dirk Chocolate, Chesnoid Gaming, and Mr. Dale round out the grid. And that was a quite fun qualifying session, wasn't it?
Definitely. 7 tenths separating 3rd to 10th place in Q3. So mighty close between them. It's going to be mighty close between SkyZ and Razin Shi going in towards turn 1. And of course, it's a very interesting turn 1. A right-hander that tightens and tightens as you go through the vice of turns 1 and 2. So there's not going to be a lot of margin or a lot of room for error going into lap 1. And then it quickly changes back to go to the left in pretty much the same fashion. Starts off tight though, and then starts to just expand as you get closer and closer to the apex, and onwards then you run towards turns 4 and 5. Then you've got the next heavy braking zone of turn 6. So in terms of first and second sectors for a first lap, it is a challenging one. If you're going to try and run side by side, I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, I'm just ducking down here because I'm just doing some stuff in the back end to hopefully improve the frame rate slightly on my end. But Nathan, what was your thoughts on that session? I think clip books aren't quite working at the moment in the back end, so we're low on clips at the moment, but hopefully they'll come through in the race. What's your view of the qualifying session there?
Yeah, it's a pretty standard qualifying. I think there weren't too many things that were like out there surprising. I think the big one's probably Tom 97 going out in Q2. He definitely was looking quick. He did say in his stream that he was a little bit annoyed about that blockage from that Alfa Romeo on that lap that he was looking quick on. And he did say that was a set of tyres that he probably didn't want to waste going into the race, and would have quite liked to have. So potentially has made him have to change his strategy a little bit. But no, qualifying interesting as always. It seems like SkyZ is setting his standard pretty high as normal, and looking very fast at that especially.
And Nathan, just before we could jump into formation lap, who do you think is going to win here?
I mean, you've really thrown it to me like as quick as I can, so I'm just going to go with the all tried and trusted. I'm going for Razin, my Community Cup man as always. So yeah, Razin for me.
You always pick Razin. I should just not start asking you. Who's going to win? Razin. Yeah.
If you give me no chance to think about it, I'm just going to go.
You've had all of qualifying to think about it.
yeah, I'm still going to go with Razin. That's my. I thought about it, just not a lot. I have to think about other things.
Well, thank you very much. We'll hopefully see more of Nathan throughout the race. Kieran, who are you thinking could win here?
I think, it's going to be a titanic battle between SkyZ and Razin. And the interesting part is here, SkyZ starting on softs, Razin starting on the medium tyres. So the front row starting on 2 different compounds of tyre. In theory, then SkyZ should get the better launch and the better run in towards turn 1. But as we know, it never sorted on paper. It's sorted out on track. As GB68 also on the soft tyres, he'll be looking to get the better jump and try and get ahead of Razin. It's in his best interest. But of course, you cannot rule out the reigning champion of the Creator Series, Meraki, who decided, I'm starting from 20th place today. He starts on the soft tyres. We'll all see with bated breath what he can do from the back of the grid. Is it going to be a last to first challenge?
Yeah, he of course he's made up super ground in the past. I think Singapore season 3 he just started nowhere and ended up winning the race, which at Singapore is a hell of a feat. So he has the pace, he has the track knowledge and the racecraft to carve through the pack, and he'll be certainly one to watch throughout the race. But we are very close to the start of the Grand Prix here, and we do have the final creators just clearing the grid here, and it's going to be absolutely fascinating season 5 throughout. MSkyZ and Razin Shai straight away setting the pace. Tom97, he's going to be one to watch throughout the whole season, and we have 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights and 5. And the creators go racing in 2024, and it looks to be a great start from Razin Shai, who's already up the inside of the McLaren of SkyZ, and GB68 also looks to get involved too and push out the McLaren, but the McLaren has stood firm on the inside as the 2 Aston Martins go 2 by 2 through the first long snail. That guy Vince trying to get involved with the fight as well, and maybe try and go around the outside of Safso, but some good defensive manoeuvring have made him not lose out that place. But the Alpine there of Tom looking for a move, as it's a bit of a lunge by that guy Vince, as Safso caught napping there, but he'll have the inside of turns 9, and this is a super start here. Razin Shai up into first.
Yeah, absolutely. El Takaman is up to 11th place as well. Meraki up into P17 from that start. We're going 3-4 wide in some parts of this track. Further down the field, it is absolutely brilliant to watch. Oh, there's a bit of contact in the background there. I think that might have been F1 Alex losing a little bit of front wing there, going through in towards turn 9. We'll have to keep an eye on that one, on that damage. But in any case, everyone seems to have made it through as we make our way through. Oh, there's contact at the back. The 2 Alexes have collided going in towards turn 11 there. F1 Alex manages to get away, but Alex Budd has spun around, and we focus then back onto the start and the battle up front.
Yep, and it's MSkyZ who's going for a post straight away on Razin Shai. He does not want to lose the lead of that race, especially as Razin Shai is on those medium tyres and can run longer, but Razin Shai has managed to hold him out. I think MSkyZ was hoping to have a better slingshot, but there's a bit of a wheel spin through the final corner of turn 16, and that could give MSkyZ the drive out of the corner and back into the lead of the race on lap 2 here, as MSkyZ, the pole sitter, retakes the top position.
Great stuff, great battling between the two of them. It was a great start from Razin as well to initially take over the lead, but being on those medium tyres, he was always going to be on the back end on the early stages of adhesion, as Dirt Chocolate struggled for grip in the opening corners. He really struggled for grip when the rear tyres coming out of turn 4. He drops to 11th place. He's battling currently with Persia in a battle for 11th place. Him and Persia battling for just outside of the points scoring positions. Tom, meanwhile, in the Alpine, making his way up into 5th place. The Dutchman really taking this race by the scruff of its neck. He's running second of the medium tyre runners right now, and sits right nice and pretty behind the 2 Aston Martins, GB68 and Safso, gaining a couple of positions as well.
Yeah, Tom, who gain that place from that guy Vince. That guy Vince went for a lunge up the inside of Safso, but has shuffled down. I think Safso playing it very defensive. That gave Tom the impetus to move forward, and he is someone who can move forward very well in the race spec. Not the man for qualifying, but certainly the man for the race. That was the story of Season 3 for himself, where he won the championship. Of course, didn't come back in any kind of defensive manner for Season 4, but is he thinking about maybe helping his teammate out, Tom97, who's currently in a battle with Nageri? They already came to blows in the qualifying session, of course. Nageri blocking him on a qualifying lap as we see a contact and a spin from it was El Taco Man out of the session, and he was caught
safety
up
car
by someone, and there's a safety car, and that is a huge moment. I think Chesnoid Gaming caught out by the spinning Haas, who's going too wide into turn 16 with Peya, and that is disaster for El Taco Man, and really sad for Chesnoid if he's been caught out there. And he has, look, no front wing on that AlphaTauri after such good work in the qualifying session to put him in a nice position. He can pit, the safety car is out, will save his blushes a little bit, but that is disastrous there for the AlphaTauri, and even worse for El Taco Man, who was cursed by our interview again.
Again, we never learn our lessons. Yeah, he was having such a great race as well, gaining so many positions off the start, but unfortunately it comes down to a crushing end. I remember early in the race when I saw a bit of Williams' front wing end play. Everybody heard that, right? It was Meraki. He's lost a bit of front wing end play on the right-hand side. So he's up into 12th place there. He was getting moves down the back straight as well, but he might be struggling a little bit through the corners. And I wonder, it's very early, as Terrorizer's been disqualified because he's received too many drive-through penalties for quote-unquote speeding under the safety car. I think I'll be hard aggrieved by that one for sure, but unfortunately for the Ferrari driver, he's going no further than that. But SkyZ still leading the way then as we head into the safety car. Razin is in second place, GB68 and Safso, the two Aston Martins, third and fourth, with Tom in fifth, Vincent sixth, Mr. Dale is in seventh place, Noguera in eighth, Tom97 up into ninth place, and Persia now into the top 10. In Fratic as well, who started this race, I believe, in P15. I need to be correct on that one. In Fratic, though, is now up into P11, so definitely something to kick on for him in these races. I'll keep an eye on Meraki and see if he does pit in, but I kind of feel like he'll be against pitting in. No, I'm completely wrong on that one though. Our reigning champion Meraki is into the pits, no doubt to replace that front wing.
Face the front wing, get off of those softs now. He's used the softs. It's that strategic advantage. I know I'm not Badgerman, so I don't know these things, but I think he can maybe use a pair of softs at the end now and just try to run long into the race. Let's see what tyres he'll go on to. Is it mediums? Is it hards? It's a pair of the white walled hards. So that is going to be him running long into the race here. And that's the thing. When you start at the bottom of the pack, you're just likely to run into people and be involved with more collisions. So that may be a learning moment for him. But at least he has this safety car, which will save his blushes. I'm hoping we can get a clip of that instant with El Tacoman and Peyo and see what it is. We will try and maybe fix the clipbook in the behind the scenes as part of going over to clipbook. But yeah, a frenetic opening through laps there. Mskazi and Razin Shai battling for position. I think Razin Shai, a super start on those mediums. Amazing traction off the line to take first position on that harder tyre compound.
Frenetic. That's a good. I'm writing that one down. I got you. I'm stealing that word from you. I'm stealing that word from you.
It means something.
Brilliant.
It does. Assured. Yeah.
It means exactly what you said it means. That's for sure. A frenetic opening laps there. Yeah, absolutely. Skyzy, though, on the soft tyres. Razin in second place. And it was Razin getting the better start. He got the move done for the lead of the race against Skyzy, which is completely against what I thought would have happened off the start. But then Skyzy decided enough was enough. He took back the lead of the race and now sits there at the top. Having a look at stops there. So everyone from Dirk Chocolate down has stopped. So Hayden Gullis is the last of those that has not stopped yet in this race. Just having a look at position changes. Meraki up 6 positions. Obviously he started in last. He's now currently running in P14 with a new front wing and some new tyres on the car as well. In Fratic up 4 positions. Mr. Dale and Tom97 and Alex Budd all of them up 3 positions. So really good to see. Unfortunately, one of the biggest losers at Chesnoid Gaming down in 17th place, although he has pitted in this race. And of course, he lost his front wing being involved in that incident a couple of laps ago. But he's still in the race. He's got a brand new fresh set of tyres on, and he'll be hoping to kick on for the next part of the race. As we've always seen in Creator Series, there is always another twist in the story.
Yeah, there really is. We have just over 50 laps to go here. I'm sure it won't be the only safety car that we have here in the Creator Series. Of course, we run the extended safety car, so that means that everyone can have a chance at getting a safety car. They often come out when people don't want them. They're often not out when people really want them, though. So, yeah, interesting to get one that early on. Of course, it was a huge collision with El Taco Man. We are hoping to get a clip of that in the background. Yeah, I mean, Meraki here in 14th. Can he get through the pack? Can it work out? Because there's a soft runners, so the soft runners are kind of hampered the most by this because they won't be able to build that gap up that they would have had, and they've used the best of the tyres at this moment. So I think it's the soft tyre runners who are hit hardest by this, as we do have safety car in this lap. Do you think Meraki can make something work now that that safety car's come out?
Yeah, I mean, he's on the hard tyres now, so the medium tyres around him and ahead of him will have the Delta advantage in the early parts of the stint, but Meraki now is focusing on running long into this race. What he's hoping for now is a little bit of a period of calm, or for it to be absolutely hectic and safety cars all the time so that he can get the hard stint out of the way. He'll be wanting now to see, as late as possible, putting on a set of medium tyres. That's what his game's strategy is. He's done with those soft tyres. He's got a new front wing on the car. Now he'll be hoping to see what happens here. He's got Dirk Chocolate right up ahead of him, though, also on a fresh set of hards. Keep an eye on that battle, because I'm sure Meraki is in no mood to stay behind.
Yeah, and I think Skies, he's gone for it before the big hairpin at the end of the straight here. He's backed off now, though. It seemed like he'd gone to it before going, and now he's gone for it again. So that was a bit of a strange strategy for him there, because actually Razin Shai is all over him, and he looks to maybe try and take the impetus from straight away. The M-Sky-Z will have the benefit of warming up those softs more than the mediums, but Razin Shai right on the back here. There's absolutely no space between them as we go racing again on lap 6, and it looks like, GB68 wanting to get involved with Razin Shai there, but just running out of space as you ever feel like your wing's going to get chopped off there through turn 2.
Yeah, absolutely. GB68 just sticking a nose in, seeing what happens, see how Razin reacts, and to his detriment, Razin didn't react at all. As Tom makes a move, then he's up the inside of Safso. They go side by side out of turn 6, and onwards we go then towards turn 7, and Tom just has to back out of that one as Safso had the inside line, but Tom is really meaning business here as he now makes his way onwards in towards turn 9. Back on the power we go then in towards turn 10, and Safso not getting that power down. This is the perfect opportunity for Tom to see if he can try and go for a move. Maybe not into 11, or perhaps into 11. That's Tom then up into 4th place. He chucked that car down the inside. He chucked the Alpine down the inside. Moves himself now up into 4th place. Safso, though, meanwhile, will have the slipstream on Tom. Can he do the favour back then? Down the back straight we go. Of course, DRS still offline. We haven't had DRS so far. It came on very briefly before the safety car was deployed, and Safso has to just use that slipstream and perhaps a lunge, but he doesn't go for the lunge, as we have now had a change for the lead. Razin puts the power down out of 14 to try and get his nose ahead. They're going to run side by side. No, Sky-Z backs out of the move then. Razin will cross the line. He leads here in China.
We saw a McLaren run side by side here already in this race through turn 16, and it ended up very badly, as we see a car off in the runoff at turn 15 there, and that I think is F1 Alex. It's the M-Sky-Z up the inside, and he's going to try to go around a long way around turn 3 here. M-Sky-Z and Razin Shai absolutely doing battle here at the start of the Chinese Grand Prix, and Razin Shai is going to have the outside there of turn 6, and that's going to be difficult for him to hold it, and M-Sky-Z does get that place back. These two absolutely going for it. Meanwhile, GB68 and Tom looking to pick up any of the scraps that are available.
It's great stuff. GB68 has got the best seat in the house for this battle of the lead. Now he wants to be a part of it. Heading our way now in towards turn 9, right on the tail of Raz and Shi, as we head our way through into turn 10. Back through the gears we go, and Tom on those medium tyres is absolutely loving this. They're the top 4 all breaking away from that guy Vince, who's managed to get away past Safso then, as we head our way through in towards turns 9 and 11 and 12 for them. But our leader then, Skyzy, is looking to just try and get the power down and put that right foot as much as possible to the floor and try and break away, but Razin will not let him go anywhere. Razin closing and closing as we make our way down towards the hairpin. A little bit of cooling there needed to be done for Razin. He makes his way through. He makes contact with the back of Skyzy, has a half spin, and Razin here is going to lose out places. I think GB68 gets through, so too does Tom, and now the battle for second place goes side by side. Tom having to go the long way round at turn 16, gets the move done. Now Razin is trying to use the slipstream that Tom is creating to try and get up the inside here of GB68, but he backs out of the move then in towards turn 1, and in one fell swoop, Razin was battling for the lead. Now he's trying to battle for third.
Yep, GB68 there, careering into the back of Razin Shai and causing him to spin. Now he's ahead of him. I don't think he'll feel too good about it, and like it was at all intentional, just a clumsy one under braking there at turns 14 at the hairpin. But Tom, who has risen up the field, qualified down in 7th position, has climbed 5 places and now is up into second here and showing his season 3 form of just carving his way through the chaos and calmly putting it into the podium places. And if he can do that a few more times this season, he's certainly back into championship fighting spec, Tom.
Yeah, isn't he just, as second place for him right now. Just having a look further down the field, of course, with that mistake from Razin, it's allowed that guy Vince to really close up, so too for Safso, and that's a train that includes all the way down to Hayden Gullis in 12th place. They'll all have DRS off of each other now, and really there's only a handful of people in this race that don't have DRS. Our Racing the Skyzy is one of them. Razin, meanwhile, has the DRS on GB68, but GB68 also has the DRS on the run down towards the hairpin. Are there going to be any moves in the background? Infratic may be looking for one, but perhaps he's just doing a little bit of tyre cooling, as that's now Aston Martin that's gone deep there. Safso runs deep into turn 14, and that's 2 positions gone. So Tom 97 and Nogueira both up into 6th and 7th place, and Safso starting to drop down this field then. He is struggling out there.
Yeah, on those softs, and he's used up the best of the life in the first part of the race before the safety car came out, and he's just free-fallen down the order here, while his teammate GB68, also on softs, has managed to manage them a lot better here. And Safso really falling down the order. We said it could be double magic in China for him because he raced so well here back in season 1, but he just seems to not have the race pace on those soft tyres. Will he be thinking about a change of tyre compound? He'll certainly be hoping for a safety car, but as I said, when you start to hope for one, they just don't come.
That's always the way, isn't it? You're hoping that a safety car will just swoop in, save your strategy, save the day, but it's not the case right now for Safso. If anything, the early safety car has hindered him on the soft tyres. Tom then making his way out of turn number 10 as we head away towards turn 11. There's a bit of a trio battle going on for second place. That guy Vince also hanging on in there on those medium tyres. He's under pressure slightly from Tom 97 as we make our way through now in through turn 13, and just keeping an eye on our battles up and down the field here. Is this a chance for GB68 to get back ahead of Tom with the DRS? He moves to the right hand side with that DRS wide open then, and the Aston Martin clears the Alpine down in towards turn 14 before even that braking zone as well. And the soft tyre running GB68 moves ahead of the medium tyre running Tom.
Well, I think there's been a moment. I think Hayden Gullis has been involved in yet another collision today, and that was a moment with Meraki. Meraki's lost time to the pack. Those two were just at the trail end of this DRS train. Meraki has got through, but Hayden Gullis in the Mercedes reserving for Michi Hoyer is just having a little bit of trouble there down at that braking zone. I think that's why he's had a moment there also in the F2 race today, of course racing for Prema in F2, and he's hoping to fight his way back to F1 full time, but with mistakes like that he will want to clear them out the way before he gets on with next week's F2 race, of course. But going back to the front of the field, GB68 is under pressure here. from the likes of Razin Shai. He's just behind Tom. Tom losing 4.5 seconds from MSkyZ. MSkyZ sitting out there in front, just loving that everyone is having to battle, and he could just focus on his own pace, his own race, and his own strategy. And no more safety cars to the end for him. He'd love it. This gap is huge for him.
Absolutely, yeah, he would absolutely relish that one. Just keep his own pace, get those qualifying laps in, keep the tyres in check as well. And doing all of that without having to battle anyone, yeah, that sounds like the dream for him, doesn't it? Razin still trying to make it a little bit of a nightmare for GB68. GB68, though, holding the pressure well, as there's DRS wide open now. As we look on then, that guy Vince having to defend from Tom97 as well. Meanwhile, then Razin looking for a move, but decides to bail out of it. Tom97, though, down the inside of the Red Bull of that guy Vince, and the Alpine of Tom97 now up into 5th place now. As we have a little bit of a look there from Razin also on GB68, but you're not making the move through towards turn 16. So the Alpine of Tom97 now having to go onto the defensive here, heading our way down towards turn 1. But the Alpine then holding firm. That guy Vince down to 6th place then. And Nogueira is just focusing. He's just watching on from this battle because he's managed to break the DRS from Safso, who finds himself under pressure from Persia and Infratic.
Yep, so Razin Shai in a battle for the 2nd place with Tom and GB68, and Tom97 just behind, fighting off that guy Vince now as he's just clinched that position from him on lap 10. And it is 2 Alpines in the top 5. Tom97 making nice steady progress after a disappointing qualifying left him out in Q2, but he's already well within the mix here and within a second of first. But will he be able to get by and close down that gap to MSkyZ? He is on the medium tyre, which will see him run longer into this race and maybe give him more options on the strategy, while MSkyZ, of course, running the softs. Indeed, actually, Tom, GB68, Razin and Tom97 all running the mediums. I say that, actually, GB68 on the softs. So they will be running longer into the race here. So MSkyZ will have to start thinking about that. But while the gap is maintained or indeed going up, he's not going to worry too much about the tyre strategy, as GB68 does finally make a move there and get by Tom for 2nd position. Runs a little bit deep. Can Tom do anything to get back at him? No. Razin Shai straight away, all the way onto the right-hand side as they go too wide almost into turn 16, and they're fighting all the way here. GB68 and Tom still at it. Razin Shai trying to take 2 positions in one straight here, up the inside of the Alpine, and that is a lovely move from the Mercedes, just using the battling of the 2 cars ahead. Tom's going to try and send it the long way around the outside of turn 2, but just not enough grip on the outside there. And Razin Shai back into 2nd place here, but 5 seconds adrift of MSkyZ before he had that collision with GB68. He was right on the back of him, of course, we'll remember.
Moves like that from Razin remind you that he's just great in that racecraft battle. Oh, there's a moment though from Tom, who finds himself off into the gravel then at turn 6, and now rejoins behind Meraki in 12th place. And now he's got to cool down those tyres, get rid of all the rubbish from them as well. So Meraki moves up into 11th place. I was just keeping one eye on him because he's been draining recently over the last couple of laps that ERS battery to try and close onto the back of Mr. Dale. He has done that now. He is within DRS. He can now start harvesting that energy again, but now he can focus on seeing if he can try and make moves on the likes of Mr. Dale, Infratic, Savso, Perja as well, all on those soft tyres, and all who might be thinking that those soft tyres are nearing their expiry date.
Yeah, it was looking so good for the Alpines, but Tom97 is now the lead Alpine in this race, and he's going for 3rd place here straight away on GB68, slowly moving his way up into the field, and he's now moved himself into a podium position, and that is nice work done by the Englishman, who is starting his first ever full season here in the Creator Series. Tom97 won 3 races last season, the most of any driver in the Creator Series Season 4, and is someone who feels like he could fight for a championship indeed. But he had that terrible qualifying session, and now is 7 seconds adrift from MSkyZ. But he's on those mediums, so is Razin Shai. They'll think their strategy can still come into play here, as we see a little moment. I think there was maybe a moment there from Naguri, which has given places to both Peya and Safso. Just a sideways moment for the Alfa Romeo there.
Yeah, now on the Aston Martin, Safso looking to try and stay ahead as they head their way through in towards turn 6, although Nogueira has the inside line. They're still running side by side. There's a little bit of touch between them, but nothing untoward, and Nogueira gets back 7th place then, so the Alfa Romeo moving back up into 7th place. Meraki and Tom are giving themselves a bit of a ding-dong battle, though Meraki now full focus is trying to get back into the points and back ahead of Mr. Dale. Through in towards turns 9 and 10 we go, and back onto the power. Razin meanwhile, has got himself 1.8 seconds clear of Tom 97. That was phase 1 of the plan, done and dusted. He is closing now on SkyZ as well. The gap between the two leaders, 4.8 seconds. As we watch on Meraki, meanwhile, making his way through, trying to see if he can get that way past Mistel. It's not going to be easy, though, because everyone around him has got DRS, as well as one fired up Tom, who looks to try and get himself back up into the points, back onto race pace, as there's a bit of defending to do here from Mr. Dale. But Meraki late on the brakes. He has to take evasive action onto the grass and running wide, and all that progress he made has been slightly thrown away once again. Meraki back down into 14th place behind Dirk Chocolate, and Mr. Dale looks like, is he coming into the pits? Yes, he is. He's getting rid of those soft tyres. He's saying, I'm going to blink first. These soft tyres are done.
Yeah, Meraki on the pair of the hard tyres, making it absolutely hard mode for himself today. He's qualified right at the back of the grid on purpose. He had this terrible stint where he broke a front wing in his first stint, ditched the softs, put on the hards, and now he's just absolutely sent it at turn 14 and just focusing too much on Mr. Dale and not enough on the cars in front. And he's very, very lucky not to have caused a big, big pile up there. Of course, our reigning championship driver is Meraki. There's still a long way to go in this race, and he could close down the pack. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to try and throw it over to the clip book, if you're ready, Nathan, because I'm very interested to see what happened with those crashes earlier on.
Okay, I'm going to tell you all now, chat. I've done my best. I don't know why clips just don't like me at the moment, but I've got a few clips of some of the incidents. So I'm going to go to this one, obviously, of what happened earlier on, and it's just a bit unfortunate. So he has a really nice battle hit alongside Peya, and it just kind of ends up with both of them battling a little bit too aggressively. He turns in maybe a bit too sharp, goes over the curb, and it just puts him in a very bad position. And unfortunately for Chesnoid, who is probably the person who is impacted as much as Taco there, he just really kind of ends his race in a bad way. Taco really, as you can probably see from his reaction, he weren't happy with that, the mistake that he made, and had to feel that he probably could have got more out of it. I'm also going to throw it over to another clip of what happened with Razin and that incident earlier on. Just a quick little one. He just gets spun. It's a little bit of contact between himself and GB. In fact, it's GB clipping him in the back that forces him to make that contact into SkyZ, forces Razin to make that spin, of course, and it just sends his race into a bit of a downward spiral. He was really close to SkyZ earlier on and is probably not happy with that. And then likewise, also with Tom, who again has a similar incident to what we saw with Razin, with GB as well. He just is on the rear of Razin, trying to close in as much as he can, and it seems that GB gives him a little love tap, sends him into the gravel, and as you can hear from his reaction, that's not a happy Tom, and he's really feeling the impact of that in his race. But yeah, a lot of clips there. If you get any clips, make sure you put them in the Discord, !Discord, and put me out as much as you can, because I'm really trying here, as you can probably tell.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nathan. Technical difficulties, not absolutely your fault, or your fault at all. So, absolutely, it's not your fault, absolutely, Nathan. How dare you? But yeah, right, okay, back to the racing. MSkyZ in first position, Rasin Shai in second, Tom 97 in third. We have had a few pit stops out there. Some drivers have decided to pit. That is the likes of Peya in 16th position, Mr. Dale and Safso. Safso, who's of course really, really struggling. Meraki and Hayden Gillis again going to war, and Meraki getting past on the straight. Easy does it, and he does actually spot his braking markers this time, so he slows it down. He's up into ninth thanks to those pit stops that have happened while we were away with Nathan.
Yeah, and it has to be said, though, GB68 might have to be on his best behaviour from now on. Tom 97, though, in the other Alpine. There's another Tom that he has to try and get past here in towards turns 1 and 2 then, as we see then GB68 on the soft tyres that are, going to be approaching their sell-by date. If not, they've already passed them. but Tom 97 then still holding firm, still holding on to third place at this moment in time, as we have 41 laps left here of the Chinese Grand Prix. SkyZ leads though by 5.5 seconds ahead of Razin Shai. Tom 97 in third, GB68 in fourth. Daklo Vince is in fifth, Nogueira in sixth place, but Hayden Gullis is in trouble though, off into the gravel at turn 6.
Yeah, big problems there for Hayden Gullis, and he's been in the wars today, he has, and there we are, coming through the middle sector. He's again got to just cool down those tyres and get himself back into the right mindset. Battling with Dirk Chocolate. It's often elbows out with Dirk Chocolate's driving style, as other creators may say. But Dirk Chocolate, of course, coming together with Hayden there, and Hayden falling down. I think what's really impressive, going back to the front, is MSkyZ is slowly still extending that gap at the front here. It's gone up to 5.5 seconds. That is a massive difference, but he's gained 6/10 over the last few laps. And remember, he's on softs that are 15 laps old, and he's going on to a 17th lap here on these softs, which is absolutely incredible. As we see Razin Shai on the mediums, Tom 97 still come through. GB68 also not opting to pit here, still finding life in the old dogs that are these soft tyres, which must just feel completely spent, especially through these incredibly tight and technical corners, and especially through that middle sector.
Yeah, Tom into the pits then as he makes his way in. Medium tyres he's on, so he's going to come in, change them over, and on we'll go. That looks like the medium tyres again. So Tom running a 2-stop today. He's back out onto the medium tyres.
Yep, so Tom running a 2-stop. I think, yeah, he will be doing medium, and maybe a soft stint at the end. We'll have to see. I mean, the hards, who's run the hards so far? Meraki's run the hards. He's had some fair pace on them, in fairness, but just made a few mistakes himself. But Tom does lose out a lot of time there. 2.5 seconds is a gap from Infratic to the likes of Alex Budd and Sasso. But of course he was way down the order because of that instant that he had with GB68. GB68 on tagging duties out there today, as he's right on the back of Tom 97. Is he going to kill Tom 97 next? We'll see.
Choice words there, Gareth. Anyway, F1 Alex is running a little bit wide. I think he's just trying to stay out of the way of others. Unfortunately, it's not been a great day for him, but that allows Peya, Mr. and Safso all through, as they're now going to battle away for 11th place, all on a fresh set of medium tyres. They were some of the first to pit in and get rid of their tyres. Of course, first to pit in after the safety car. Still a battle on our hands then between Tom 97 and GB68 as they make their way across the start-finish line here. Lap 18 here in China, heading our way in towards turns 1 and 2. And it's a right-hander. There's Titans and Titans. And when you're behind the wheel, it just does feel like it goes on slightly forever. Then you've got turn 2, which goes in the opposite direction. It gets narrower and wider as narrower and wider. That's a good oxymoron, Kieran. It gets wider and it gets a little bit easier to open the wheel back up. Infratic setting the fastest lap of the race so far, as Tom making his way up the order. In fact, he's getting himself past F1 Alex, and F1 Alex struggling in this moment in time. I think just trying to avoid other drivers, making sure it doesn't get too in the way, but also just trying to stay out of trouble. Tom then will be looking to make those new medium tyres work.
Yeah, F1 Alex here ran deep early into the race at turn 14. That hard braking zone, of course, at the end of the long straight. He boxed for a pair of hards under that safety car, and he's just not made them work. So he's way down in the doldrums. The only person he'll be fighting on track at the moment, maybe even Woody, unless the safety car could come and to save his blushes. Even Woody has pushed for a early pit stop here, but F1 Alex I think will run a little deeper on those hards, at least to the point where he's no longer happy with them, but yeah, it's now really at the front, first one to blink the territory, and Razin Shai comes through, but MSkyZ 19 laps in, still extending that gap. 5 attempts it's gone up to. This is really good pace from the Frenchman extending over Razin Shai on those supposedly worn out tyres. But Razin Shai, difficult session, of course, lost touch with mSkyZ. Maybe he'd feel like he'd still be in a 1-2 fight with mSkyZ without that little moment from GB68 a few laps ago. Tom97 again losing ground to Razin Shai over these laps. That guy Vince has fallen off the back of Tom97 as well, as actually GB68 has pitted somewhere in the midst of all that. And GB68 out there on a pair of mediums, and just behind Infratic, about 2 seconds behind, 3 seconds behind his teammate Safso. So that's what he's lost in the kind of 3-4 laps, as we do see a retirement. It's F1 Alex, and there's a safety car. F1 Alex has had a big moment there coming out of the snail, and that has caused our second safety car of the day. I was hoping we could ride on board with Ethan Woody and have any idea of what has happened, but maybe a spin out that corner. We said he wasn't having a good time, but Ethan Woody will be happy with that. He'll be brought right back into it, and I'll tell you who else will be happy with it. The likes of mSkyZ, Razin Shai, Tom97, that guy Vince Nugeri, and Meraki, Dirk Chocolate Chesno. They'll all be lovely. They'll love it. But GB68, who just pitted, will not be happy right now.
He'll be kicking himself for that one. He's waited all that time for a safety car to be deployed. And then finally, when he's pitted, then that's when the safety car and the virtual burn Mylander says, "Oh yeah, I'll emerge from the pit lane now." SkyZ though makes his way into the pit lane. He's been waiting for this. Get rid of those soft tyres. Let's see what tyres he will emerge on. I have a feeling this is going to be a very, very, very busy pit lane here on lap number 20 here at the Chinese Grand Prix here in Season 5, the season opener of Creator Series. On-go set of medium tyres for SkyZ. He will rejoin the race in the lead. Well, that's one positive that he's got there. He gets to change his tyres. It's a free pit stop. The only downside is that 6-second gap he had over Razin Shai is gone. Completely wiped out. And we've got a 5-second penalty for Safso for a severe collision with Mr. Dale.
Oh, and there has been a severe collision. His wing's gone. So that's a big problem. Alex Budd's been speeding on the safety car. He's going to have to take a drive through after the safety car comes in. And Safso, who had already pitted, of course, is now going to have to pit again because he's got big problems on the front, and he will be having to switch off those mediums, which are fairly fresh. Will he go for another set of mediums? Of course, the pit lane is cleared because GB68 pitted the lap before. This is an awful couple of laps for the likes of the Aston Martins, who's also serving a 5-second penalty, which is a good time to serve a 5-second penalty, if anything. But GB68 getting done by the safety car with its time coming out. To quote Fernando Alonso, karma, maybe. But Safso there, really unlucky. I'd really love to know what happened between him and Mr. Dale, of course, picking up the penalty there. So that's difficult. Hard tyres for Safso, but all the way down in 16th. That's a big shame.
Yeah, F1 Alex, though, raiding into the Creator Series Twitch. Welcome along, everybody. Unlucky for that one, but thank you for joining us for the rest of the race. And hopefully, F1 Alex, keep your head up. It was a good opening race. It was... It's tough out there. Starting a race, starting a season at China, it's such a technical circuit as well, where you really need to be on top of the setup. There's fast corners, slow corners. There's a long straight that we're on right here with SkyZ that you're on the throttle for 20 seconds. It's a track that's got a little bit of everything, and when you're trying to make a setup and trying to perfect what you want the car to do, it's a bit of a headache.
Absolutely, and we can actually maybe see a little bit of why F1 Alex found it such a headache as we go over to the clip book with Nathan, and you're going to show us what went wrong here.
I am indeed, and it's actually really unfortunate for F1 Alex. I'm gonna let it play, let it see it out, and he just kind of loses the rear a little bit. I'm not entirely sure what actually happened. He just kind of slid and found himself in a very unfortunate place, unfortunately in the wall, and you'll see it in his reaction. He's heartbroken. You got to remember, he's just come off racing in F2. He's now gone straight in to an F1 race afterwards. It was a big ask for F1 Alex, and he done so well so up until that sort of incident, and you have to say it's an unfortunate one for him, no doubt. Give
Alex some love. That's what I would say.
Absolutely. Terrorizer had one agree. Final terrific moment here where he killed poor F1 Alex. I think there is a problem with Xbox where it can cause a bit of lag with the Xbox Discord integration. So that's maybe what caused that issue there, from my own knowledge of used to be back on the Xbox about a year ago. But yeah, that's maybe what caused that little moment through the middle of the corner. and big problems there for him. And it's a shame. It's an absolute shame, isn't it, Nathan?
It really is. I've got a few more clips if you want.
Let's
if
go.
You want a
Come
bit
on,
more
keep
filler.
them coming. Keep them flowing.
We can see what happened with Jake and his slight little journey he went on earlier on into what would have been the rear end of that Ferrari if he hadn't acted too early. And
he was close,
we'll keep your vulgar language. Well, he was close. We'll keep the language to a minimal, Jake, if you can. But no, it was very close and a good reaction from the guy in the Williams. And then I'm also going to show you GB's POV of what he did to Tom, because it seems like Hayden and GB have kind of become best friends with kind of making people's races a little bit difficult today. You know, Hayden did it in F2. GB's decided to do it in F1 and just kind of thought, you know what, Tom, you're in my way. Little bit of a tap out the way, and now I'm through and in my own little race. And he says it himself. He gives him a slight bit of a killing in his own words there to Tom, and he's a bit unfortunate with that. And then I'll give you one. I'm not going to play
I tell you what, we're
with
going to
it.
go back into the race now.
We're going to go back racing. We're going to go back racing.
We'll jump away, but thank you very much, Dan. We'll come back for that clip later on, because this has been instant packed, this race. 2 safety cars already. Lap 21 it is. I'm sure we're going to have more safety cars, because cautions breed cautions in motor racing. Razin Shai, yet again, right behind M-Sky-Z. He has had a reprieve, a big reprieve here as they go racing again. M-Sky-Z, a lot better, a lot cleaner restart, but still Razin Shai right on the back of him and looking to put him under pressure. Is he going to think about a move straight away here into turn 1? M-Sky-Z covering off the inside. Razin Shai sticks in the slipstream, but will he maybe go for a move up the inside? Ambitious in through turn 2 to go. That'll be the outside of turn 3. He'll have to have supreme traction on the outside. How brave is Razin going to be? These two have been 2 by 2 for so much of the race when they've been together. Razin Shai up the inside of turn 6. M-Sky-Z still there, still wanting to take the racing line and still pushing him through, and now he'll have the inside of turn 7, and M-Sky-Z and Razin Shai putting on a brilliant display here, but Razin Shai absolutely riding the limit of grip, twitchy all over the place, and I think he'll have to concede through the double left-hander in this middle sector. Amazing racing from the two.
How do you get that close and not make contact? Unbelievable. Here goes Razin Shai again. Up the inside, going in towards turn 11 there. Still they run side by side, the leaders. Now Razin Shai trying a bit of a switchback. Gets himself the inside line for turn 12. And still they run side by side through the slight banking there of turn 13. And running side by side, 2 by 2. Down the back straight we go. Skyzy's just about a nose ahead. But Razin Shai would have the inside line unless he wants to tuck into the inside. No, he doesn't. Got the inside line. Got his nose ahead as well. Razin Shai in the Mercedes gets a little bit tail happy on the exit of turn 14. That allows Skyzy to try and hang a nose around the outside, but he has to concede defeat to that one. And Razin Shai retakes the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix here in Creator Series. Skyzy is nowhere near done with this one though. Now looking for an outside move in towards turn 1 we go. It's non-stop action between these two.
Yeah, these two are going to go absolutely at it. And again, M-Sky-Z is going to take that outside line through turn 2, a wider line that leaves Razin Shai space up the inside, and they're basically in the same position they were last time, but M-Sky-Z a few car lengths back. He'll go deep on the brakes at the hairpin. These two are going to push each other off the road if they're not careful. Up the inside yet again at turn 7, will the McLaren go? And Razin Shai, who was on the limit of the grip around here on the last lap, manages to keep it under control again. These two just want to go too wide the whole time. It's not great for their overall racecraft. Their tyres will be used up, their energy will be used up, but these two are looking to assert dominance straight away here. Tom 97 just behind, enjoying the view and hoping that these two knock each other out, because they're getting very close to each other as they run through the second snail on to the long 1 kilometre straight. Razin Shai will tuck in just behind and he'll duck straight out of the slipstream. No DRS yet again, because it's only 2 laps since we restarted under that second safety car. Razin Shai up the inside. Tom 97 under pressure from that guy Vince. He'll have the inside line. So will Razin Shai. And are they going to come into contact? It's almost a repeat. GB68 comes into contact when GB68 came into contact with Razin, but it was actually Tom on Sky Z this time, and Razin has almost a second gap on his rival. He does.
Well, that guy Vince is now up into third place as well. After all that, Meraki up into fourth place as well. And Skyzy, who's shown some phenomenal pace all through today so far, knows he's got to try and use a little bit of energy now, use a little bit of tyre life to get himself and stay within that 1 second of Razin. But great battling between Razin Shai and Skyzy. Tom 97 now down into 5th place after that melee at turn 14. And it was great battling between Tom 97 and that guy Vince as well, as Vince was looking to get that 3rd place. He has now got it, and Vince now will be looking to see if he can retain that 1 second gap between himself and Skyzy to help him defend against the likes of Meraki, against Tom 97, against GB68. Dirk Chocolate, meanwhile, up into 7th place as well. He's had a phenomenal restart at the very least. That safety car's really helped him out to get himself onto a brand new set of medium tyres and get himself into a point-paying position as it stands.
Yeah, Dirk Chocolate running well. Both Red Bulls running well. That guy Vince in 3rd position, making good when Top 97 came into the side of Skyzy there. I don't think it's just so hard when 2 cars go battle 2 by 2 into turn 14. You'll see it so often, and it's kind of what happened with GB68 a few laps ago with Razin Shai. Razin Shai came off a lot worse that time because Skyzy, of course, gained about 5 seconds on Razin Shai overall because Razin Shai lost so many places and so much time. But Razin Shai in the lead here, trying to extend out of that DRS gap, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. And Skyzy, who is of course a second behind here, right on that bubble, but getting DRS this time and closing down the gap by about 3 tenths as they come into turn 1. But Skyzy is going to have to work super hard to stay in that DRS, and it's going to be super race critical for himself. Of course, leading by a long shot earlier on, but he's been caught by Razin Shai. And these two, they just put on a fantastic show every time they go side by side. It's such good racing.
It really, really is. And Razin here just being reeled in by Skyzy right now as they make their way through in towards turn 7 and 8 now. And Razin he would have been wanting to try and build that gap up over 1 second, but it's going in the opposite direction right now as Skyzy reels him in. That guy Vince is just about hanging on to that DRS, although he's just fallen outside it as the DRS detection point is just on the entrance of turn 12. So that guy Vince needs to attack these next couple of corners, otherwise he might lose out on DRS. I think he has lost out on DRS. This is a chance here for Meraki to try and get himself up into 3rd place as we make our way on towards the back straight. Let's see, keep an eye on the Red Bull rear wing here. Does it open up? No, it does not. Here comes Meraki then pulling over to the right hand side down the long straight. You've got plenty of time to think about your braking zone here, and Meraki up into 3rd place. The battle for the lead though continues on through the hairpin, and Razin just about holding on to the lead right now.
They'll be having so much fun, these two. They are absolutely... They're not going to work together. Oh, yeah, we've got a second gap on the people behind. No, we're going to go for it, and I'm going to go for it and go for it and go for it. And I feel like these two could push each other over the line if they're not careful. But they are really relishing this fight here in round 1 of Season 5 of the Creator Series 2024. Is going off with a bang, and Razin Shai just manages to maintain that gap over Skyzy, but you know he's going to go for another lunge soon. You know he's going to go and take the fight straight to him. If we wait Meraki up into 3rd, he'll look to whittle down that gap. And actually, I wonder if Razin Shai and Skyzy will realise the threat of Meraki behind and just try to work together, because at the moment they have a 1.2 second lead over Meraki, and of course that's crucial because that is out of the DRS window, and that is worth so many tenths a lap that Meraki will have to use energy and burn energy to come through. Of course, Meraki, who started 20th in this race by choice, running intermediate lap after intermediate lap in qualifying, has come right through the pack, and he'd love a last to first win to kind of just reclaim and stay straight away. I am here to defend my Season 4 title.
He would absolutely love that one. Razin Shai though has a bit of defending to do though. We've got 31 to go, 30 and a bit if you're picky. And Skyzy here looking for that move then with the DRS down in towards turn 14. Here we go again, 2 by 2 in towards turn 14 though. Vince though is looking for a move back around on Meraki, who's trying to defend there. We've got 2 battles for podium spots here as Razin still trying to hang it then against Skyzy as we make our way across the start finish line, and we make our way onwards then towards turn 1 with Raz and Shy on the inside. Skyzy in second, has to hang it round the outside. That guy Vince, though, makes his way up into third place. Tom97, meanwhile, is looking to try and get away past Meraki. He's got himself up the inside at turn 2, and Tom97, if he gets the power down, should be able to get himself up a position. He does, moves himself up into 5th place now, and now it's GB68. It's his turn to try and move now down in towards the next corner at turn 6, but not quite this time. And Meraki, who was up in 3rd place, now down into 5th place.
Yeah, and Meraki is just falling down there. Everyone is fighting for glory here. Everyone is trying to get every single point they can here. There's no alliances. There's no working together between any of the top 6. They're all just looking to get the position right now, right here, because they don't want to be in the wrong position when contact comes, when a safety car comes. And actually, that guy Vince has done well here over the last lap to almost close in on the DRS, but it's so tantalizingly close. 1/10 away, and that is 1.1 seconds behind, and that's going to be losing time all the way down the straights as MSkyZ will maybe go for a move on Maz and Shies, but it's Tom97 who has the DRS on that guy Vince, and that's why DRS is so important, because that move was so easy. Tom97 now back up into 3rd position, and Meraki will be frustrated that he has lost those positions, because Tom97 will maybe try to close down that gap just in front. Am I on me now? Hello? Okay.
Quickly, just while we sort out some of the mic
yeah,
issues
so right, okay,
we're all,
so Kieran's
we're all having.
just muted, so we've got some mic problems, so very interesting, but I'll keep us going while that happens. Raz and Shai in 1st, MSkyZ in 2nd, Tom97 is in 3rd, that guy Vince in 4th here, and Tom97, you just see that DRS window sitting around 1.3 seconds, maybe going down to 1.1, but no one wants to burn the battery that will get them through, as we do see another safety car deployed. And why is that? Why is there another safety car deployed? We do see Emphatic and Alex Budd going into the pits. Is this because there's been damage on that car? Emphatic was straight into the pits there before that safety car was even called. No. There is indeed no front wing change there, so that's just opportunistic timing for him to come into the pits. But I think everyone will get a chance to pit if they want to, because the safety car came out after the went through turn 1. But that is very interesting. Raz and Shai in 1st, MSkyZ in 2nd, Tom97 in 3rd here. And that will just quiet down the racing just for now. Yeah, it's Kieran, unmute. I think we should be fine. We'll just see if it's fine.
Fair enough.
Let us know in chat if you can hear Kieran okay. I can hear you fine. So
I believe it's yours, Gareth. Actually,
it's mine.
Yeah.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, I believe it's yours.
Okay.
From what we can work out, anyways.
Right, okay. Right, Kieran, you should talk then. Just while we're here, Nathan, do you have anything for Clipbook?
Yeah, you can throw a clipbook to me if you want. Yeah, go ahead. What do we want? We can have the slight incident we saw before under the safety car of what happened to Safso. Because I'm not actually sure most of you know, and it was one of the people in chat. I'm going to quickly shout out who it was in chat, because they have been a lifesaver for me today. So Benjamin BJ 2011, you have been a lifesaver for me today. So I want to say thank you to you quickly, and appreciate you helping my job on Clipbook be a little bit easier. But yeah, I'm gonna bring it back, let you see what properly happened with Safso. And I don't even think really Safso knows what happened. I think just moving a little bit slowly under the safety car there, Dale alongside Peya. I think Safso was probably hoping they would go a little bit quicker into that final corner, and yeah, just sent Safso's race kind of downhill, spiralling from there. And then I've also got the incident that we saw between Tom97, Razin, MSkyZ, and Vince, and it's kind of a mixture of all 4 of them, a little bit more on the back 2 on Vince and Tom97, but Vince goes very aggressively into that sort of final into that corner, trying to get a good line, stay ahead of Tom97. It just doesn't really fall for him, and he puts himself into the back of SkyZ, who then gets clipped by Tom97. It's just a rolling sort of incident after incident, and it really puts a bit of a hindrance into SkyZ's race. And then one quick one, who I think a lot of people miss this one in the stream also, is Fabio, who we spoke to obviously earlier on during Q2, and it's Another incident in turn 14 where everyone seems to have it, and GB brakes very early. Fabio has no idea that he's going to go as early as he does, and you can see in the bottom right, it's wing damage for him, and that's really impacted his race quite heavily under the safety car especially. So he's hoping for the safety car to be able to fix that wing issue. So with it, he probably has had the opportunity to. And yeah, so a bit of a shame for Fabio in his return race after feeling so rejuvenated coming in to China today.
Great stuff. Nathan, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, Kieran.
Ah, lovely.
Oh. There we go.
Yeah. Right, okay. I don't actually think it's us. I think it's a Discord issue. I don't think it's actually us that can change anything about this. We can all hear each other fine. Just for the viewers' context, we can all hear each other fine in the booth. But for whatever reason, I think the Discord is coming through clipping. I've changed my mic settings over to something a bit different, so I don't know if I'm a little bit quieter now, so I may need to just turn my gain up slightly there. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what's happening there. A lot of different Discord issues maybe, and yeah, that is what it is. We'll come away from the clip just for now and go and look at the onboard here, which is very loud and annoying, so we'll go away from that. Raz and Shai, let's go over to Raz and Shai and look at who's pitted. And I tell you what, Dirk Chocolate is into second place because he hasn't pitted, because the likes of that guy Vinks and Meraki, they've gone on to hards, they're going to go to the ends. Softs for Tom 97, he thinks maybe 26 laps is doable with a pair of softs here.
I think he's gambling on another safety car. I'll be completely honest with you. He's looking to see what he can do from that position. Skyzy, though, into the pits on the hard tyres. He is looking to go to the end now. That's it. So that's going to play into Skyzy's hands. If there's no other safety cars, Razin might have to think about having to pit in. We've got 27 laps to go, 26 when we get to the line. And we've got Nogueira and Safso also on the hard tyres. Will they get to the end? Probably not. It's going to be very tyres screaming and agony, I think, towards the end of this race. But as we round our way through and towards turns 12 and 13, we'll see safety car still out for now then. So it looks like we're seeing another lap behind the safety car.
Yeah, so another lap behind the safety car because we've not had everyone bunched together, unless it's a very late call here. It could happen depending on how they bunch, but I think there is a few gaps in the pack here, so I don't expect the safety car to come in. Oh, as I say it, I absolutely say the difference. So now these two at the front, or everyone at the front, needs to think about warming up their tyres because they were not expecting that. The safety car call came very, very late, and now Razin Shai has to start this race on very cold tyres. So does Dirk Chocolate, and those hard tyres, you've got to feel sorry for them, running down from 3rd all the way down to 8th. They're going to find it difficult, and indeed a few people coming to the fix. Hayden Gillis into the pits here as Dirk Chocolate in second position. He must feel like he has a nosebleed, he's running so high, but he'll be all thinking about defence here and maintaining as many points as possible for the Red Bull. He's never had a podium in the Creator Series. Can he hold on? It'll be a long, long shot for the Red Bull driver.
Will be indeed. We'll have to see what happens in that race. Then Skyzy, though, meanwhile looking for him down the inside of Safso, then going in towards turn 6, but he gets that position.
Yep, so Safso is up into 5th position. Nicely done for him, and he is he's on those older tyres. It's M Sky Z, sorry, who's gained that position. Sorry, just me talking about the wrong person there. M Sky Z on those newer tyres. They are hards. Will they be quicker than Razin Shai's mediums 11 lap hold? I think it will be just about, but I think M Sky Z will know that he can get to the end on those hard. So he's gambling that there's no more safety cars. If a safety car comes in soon, it still wouldn't be good for Razin Shai because he'd lose all the positions that the pack has bunched up. But we have had so many safety cars here, tactics kind of start to go out the windows. Tom 97, meanwhile, on those soft tyres, making up lots of ground here as he uses the best of those tyres. But now he's got to defend from the likes of that guy Vince, who's also sending one on Safso. Make sure you don't get tagged up. We've seen that at turn 14 before. That guy Vince still up the inside of Safso. That'll be the outside of turn 16, but Safso sensibly decides not to go too wide there and have a repeat of El Tacoman and Peya's collision earlier on in this race. Meraki in 8th here. He's looking to climb up and take that position off Safso. Safso will definitely know he picked the wrong choice by staying out on those hards, and he is going to lose a whole heap of positions here as he falls down the order and faster tyres come on through. And I believe I'm by myself again. So it's Razin Shai in first position, Dirk Chocolate in second, M Sky Z in third, Nigiri in fourth, and fifth is Tom 97. That guy Vince is in sixth, seventh is Meraki, GB68 in eighth, ninth is Tom Safso. He was 11th, he's now 10th. And he was 10th, now 11th. Peya has gained that position off him, of course, falling down the order as I said he would. Razin Shai and Dirk Chocolate still sitting well in first and second position. Well, Razin Shai has extended that gap by a second, but Dirk Chocolate is going to be under pressure here from M Sky Z and Tom 97 very soon. And I wonder if Tom 97 is going to try and get the jump on M Sky Z down the straight, slingshotting off that second snail and down into turn 1, into turn 14 he'll go, and very, very late on the brakes, almost colliding with the back of Dirk Chocolate, and Dirk Chocolate now is going to be under pressure from the Alpine on those softs, and that is going to be a really easy position to take. But Tom 97 making sure to get in front of M Sky Z while the softs are still good. Strike while the iron is hot, and the softs are looking very good for the Alpine, and he's up into second, and it's will only be a matter of time before he closes down with our race leader Razin Shai, who didn't pit. He's going to have to go and do some miracles on those mediums to try and maintain this gap. I don't think it's going to be done, but M Sky Z still sitting behind Dirk Chocolate, still looking for a way forward. Would he maybe think about a lunge into turn 6? He does go up the inside at the hairpin, and that is a simple move for him, but he is into the podium positions. Dirk Chocolate out of the podium positions here, but with a lot of quicker cars behind, he could fall further down through the field.
Main place here is already Dirk Chocolate looking to try and get himself back onto a fresh set of soft tyres by the time he gets there. It will now be 7th place, right behind that guy Vince. These two are battling tooth and nail throughout the entire race. It's 8th place. It's insane. Wherever you've been a driver in this race, the chances are you've been in quite a few positions up and down the order then. As we watch on this Persia trying to find a way through as well. The back Iraqi is the field down the way down the straight into towards Ratin, who's leading the way 8 of a second ahead of Tom at 97. This guy's in third place. Persia, meanwhile, making his way, trying to find a move then, and gets down the inside. Meraki also under pressure from Tom then, as we make our way out of the hairpin, and onwards we go then towards turn 16, and Tom then just can't quite find a way past going in towards there.
Yeah, Tom 97 now only 4/10 away from Razin Shai, and I think Razin Shai will know deep down he's made the wrong decision. He's just got to make the best of a bad decision now. He'll hope for a safety car, but not quite yet, because he wants that gap to spread a little bit. He's still making good time on the other runners who didn't pit for those tyres. He's still making time on those people who are stuck behind those runners who didn't pit. And that is going to be very difficult for him to hold on to that first position. It probably is hard to hold on to a podium position here as things stand for the strategy. He's going to have to hope something goes his way. M Sky Z versus Tom 97 will be a duel, and M Sky Z doing very, very well to keep the pace high on those hard tyres, because of course they will theoretically go longer into the race.
Yeah, theoretically, of course, it's always on paper. It sounds great, but when it comes to actually getting there, we've got a moment there for Dirk Chocolate, I think. Yes, at turn 11, he's now found himself onto the grass. He rejoins onto the circuit, but now in 11th place. He'll definitely be on his knees now, begging for a safety car towards the end of this race.
Yeah, and we should have proper audio again now, so apologies for those technical difficulties, but we are back in the house. Tom97 has got the lead of the race away from Razin Shai. Razin Shai is in second position, Sky Z in third, looking to take him next. Dirk Chocolate back into 12th position. It's sad for him, but he was on the wrong strategy completely, and they'll all be hoping for a safety car. Anyone who's got laps older than 10 laps old, they'll all be hoping for a safety car at the moment, as GB68 also claims back through the order. He's going into a battle with the Alfa Romeo through turn 1 and gaining that position, following that guy Vince through. And I'm really interested to see. I think softs, Tom97 on those softs to the end is going to be really super hard to get it. But GB68 straight away is looking to have a go at that guy Vince. That guy Vince on those hard tyres. GB68 on the medium tyres. The yellow stripe should theoretically be quicker, but not last as long into the race, as he goes for an opportunistic move up the inside of the long sweeping turn 7, and that will be the outside of the right-hander kink at 8. And now for the double left-hander of 9 and 10, GB68 up into 4th position. And of course, he was badly hurt by that second safety car. Came out at completely the wrong time, but he picked the right strategy here, and now maybe has a good chance at a podium position as things stand on the road.
As things stand, of course, as Persia as well, looking to try and get past Meraki. He's on the soft tyres, is Persia, so he's looking to try and make these tyres work and hope that there's a safety car towards the end of the race then. Meanwhile then, Skyzy with that DRS getting past Razin then, as we head our way in towards the hairpin once again at turn 14. Back on the power we go then, up through the gears, now on towards turn 16. It's allowing Tom97 to try and break away. He's broken DRS, but of course, he probably has to stop again on those soft tyres. So we can see now, making our way now onwards towards turn 1. Sky Z still defending from Razin. I'm getting deja vu, and I'm pretty sure that only happened 10 laps ago, where they were side by side.
Yeah, these two really, it doesn't matter the difference of tyre life, the different tyres that they're on, they just love sending it side by side. But I think Sky Z through now, and I can only see one equation working out here for Razin Shai, and that's falling down through the order. It will be whether he can manage that gap to that guy Vincent GB68. It is 3.3 seconds as things stand, and if these two fight on track together, then it could be that guy Vince who really is a kingmaker here. If he works well with GB68, then they could catch Razin Shai. If they choose not to work together and fight for places on the track, then that gap could just grow and grow and grow, and Razin Shai could make those mediums go a little bit longer. But then, of course, he'll have to pit, because I believe he started on the mediums too, so it's a medium, so he actually does have to pit in this race. So it's not a case of will he take them to the end, can he go that far? It's a case of how can he build that gap when he's on those old mediums, and it has just grown 3.4 seconds on this lap, and he'll just be hoping for that guy Vincent GB68 to drip over each other, or at least battle so hard that the gap becomes sufficient enough for him to maybe climb back and salvage a podium here.
Yeah, absolutely. But here comes GB then, looking for a move then down the inside at the hairpin with that DRS. Launches a move down the inside. Goes the Aston Martin and takes away, as long as he gets the power down. Yes, he does. Now up towards the final corner. Takes the racing line too and moves himself up into 4th place. So Vince now down to 5th place. Nogueira is in 6th place with Tom in 7th. Meraki in 8th. Persia in 9th. And Emphatic rounding off the top 10. But that guy Vince is not done with this. Flying around the outside at turn 1. Trying to hang on in there now and dig his fingernails in so he can have the inside line for turn number 2. He's still there. Will he get the power down? Can he get the power down against GB68? They're running side by side now on the exit of turn 4. Now through the slight kink of 5, GB68 just about holds on. He wants to take that racing line, but he can't. Vince is still there, and down the inside goes Meraki on Nogueira. Sorry, that's Tom on Nogueira. So Tom moves himself now up into 6th place. Great battling going on here.
Yep, and that extends the gap by another half a tenth. So Razin Shai will just keep watching that gap, hoping that these two come and fight. And GB68 and that guy Vinks kind of know what's on offer here. They know that 3rd position is on offer once Razin Shai pits, so they're absolutely going for it. They know they can't catch up with the likes of Tom97 and MCIZ, and Tom97 has pulled a bit of a gap on the McLaren driver, of course, on those soft tyres though, that could go off towards the end of this race. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. But GB68 and that guy Vince absolutely going for it on track here, as they feel faster cars are coming through. The likes of Tom in 6th, Meraki in 8th, who was as high as 3rd position at one point in this race. Perja down in 9th, Emphatic 10th. They could all come through. Zafso as well. Oh, it's late on the brakes for Tom with Constantino up. I thought Tom was going to career into the back of that guy Vince there, but just about managed to get that stopped on the brakes. And now it is going on to lap 38 for these cars. And Razin Shai is happy, but it's 3.5 seconds. GB68. Look, if these two could just stay in a straight line, Razin Shai is going to find it so hard to break that gap and try and find a place for him to pit into. He'll need a supreme grip from softs at the end of this race to get through, or maybe a lucky safety car to come through. I think that would reset everything as things stand. Another safety car. We've already had 3, so absolutely nothing is on the cards, but everything is on the cards, of course, in the Creator Series, but I'm not sure if we'll get another safety car here. I think things are starting to settle down here with the different tyres at bay.
Meraki then gets up the inside. Nogueira going through in towards turn 7. Now fighting his way through in towards turn 8. And with the superior tyres, 9 laps difference in the age of the tyres. Meraki moves himself now up into 7th place. And GB68 is really starting to hound down on Razin Shai now. The gap between them, 2.1 seconds right now. 2.6 seconds between himself and Razin Shai. So he's really getting that gap catapulting down. That guy Vince then starting to lose ground on GB68. He really did put in a great battling performance. He will have DRS this time around to help him defend from Tom, but with that, he's getting a little bit too close to being outside of DRS range. Meanwhile, Infratic has just moved up 2 positions here. Infratic and Persia getting 2 and 1 places respectively, and Nogueira blinked and he's now down to P10 on those hard tyres, but Infratic then moving himself up into 8th place.
Yep, and Infratic, of course, we can remember he was right near the back. I was wondering if he was the reason that the safety car was caused. He was the first one to go in and box for these mediums, and now he's moved himself up into a top 8 position because of that tyre change, and it is only Razin Shai who didn't pit that is not in the top 10. So Razin Shai, who didn't pit, is up in 3rd position, but the gap is 2.2 seconds. He's going to have to pit at some point in this race. Maybe Razin Shai is one of the most surprising drivers not to pit because he is running that medium strategy. Obviously, he just didn't feel like it was the right move to go to the end. I wonder when Razin Shai will start to think, right, a safety car's not going to come. I need to pit and work my way through the field here, especially as GB68 comes closer and closer. Will it be once GB68 catches up, that's when you go to the pit? It's an interesting thing. What do you think, Kieran, here?
Yeah, it's a tricky one for Razin. He'll just be hoping that there is going to be a safety car that allows him to take a free pit stop, go onto a set of soft tyres and at least bail him out on that point. Even so, he will still lose a lot of time. There might be a couple of drivers who stay out there who will say, I'm happy with my tyres. I'd rather have track position. As Tom, meanwhile, swoops his way past that guy Vince with that little bit of DRS as well. And Vince, who's put up a good fight so far. Tom now up into 5th place, as Meraki is in 7th place, Infratic 8th, Persia in 9th place. And we saw as well the opening early advantage for Tom 97 on those soft tyres has been well and truly sized down by Skyzy, and there's no real surprise in that. We saw these soft tyres really go to about lap 16, maybe even lap 18 at a stretch before they were really done and dusted. Even before then, we saw some significant pace drop off. It's no surprise here that Tom has started to fall back into the clutches of Skyzy, so much so back into DRS. Skyzy, out of all of them, is in a really comfortable position here because Razin is going to try and defend from GB68 and try not to fall behind him. That's going to open up the gap between them a little bit more, so Skyzy at this point is loving life right now.
Yep, on those hards, they'll definitely go to the end, there's no question mark. And the softs have seemingly lost their best here. It will be a case of how long can Tom 97 keep Skyzy at bay, then how long can he stick with Skyzy. On the current strategy, it would be a real disaster maybe for Tom 97. Maybe Tom 97 will go for another pit. Maybe he'll go for another pair of softs there and try to charge through the back and do what Razin Shai has to do. So it will be interesting to see that, or whether will it be just better just to stick out up front and only pit if the safety car comes. Anyway, MSkyZ, DRS open down the main straight, closing and closing. He'll look to the outside of turn 14. That's where he chooses to put his braking markers, and Tom97 knows that that pass is made on the straight. He'll tuck behind and hope to stick in the DRS of MSkyZ for as long as possible, but I wonder if Tom97 will want the win and will think about pitting again, or he's going to go straight back by him to slow him down as much as possible. He's got DRS, but he just didn't have to drive out of the final corner to launch himself into turn 1 there, and now Tom97 will just have to think, do I want to go for the win? Do I pit for another pair of softs to try and get back to where I am, or do I just know that maybe I can get to the end on these softs, see how they go? It's a long way to go that on a pair of softs. I think he has to pit again.
He's no way he's getting to the end on those soft tires. He has to pit again, as you say. What he's hoping for right now is stay on the back of Skyzy, stay in that DRS. He's clearly opening up that gap between himself and Razin Shai. This is where he'll struggle, though, going through towards turn 7, turn 8, turn 9 and turn 10, where you need so much mechanical grip underneath you to help you get through the aero grip as well. This is where he's going to lose a lot of time, but if he can stay within DRS range for at least a couple of laps, that's going to sort of lessen the damage of having to pit again. What Tom's hoping for now is a safety car, and as long as he can stay in the DRS of Skyzy, he will continue to hold out until there is a prospective safety car. The moment Tom falls out of DRS, that's when he's going to lose the mountain of time. So if he can stick with Skyzy, he's okay for now.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Nathan, you have a bit of news about Razin and when he intends to pit, don't you?
I do indeed. It is going to be the next few laps. He's really looking at where he's going to come out. His main focus, coming out ahead of Alex Budd in P12, and he was looking to try and keep it ahead of GB, but unfortunately, you're about to see it. It's not going to be too much fun for Razin with his initial plan, as he will eventually lose out to GB. I'm a little bit ahead, and it seems that everyone's a little bit ahead at this point. So, but yeah, he was mainly focusing on coming out ahead of Alex Budd, and that's really what he needs to do in this race, and it looks like he probably will in the next 2 laps.
Yeah, well, he has come into the pits now, put on the pair of soft tyres, and he will be coming out. But will it be in front of Alex Budd? I think it will be clearly in front of Alex Budd, so they'll have fresh air to use up those soft tyres. Meraki had a bit of disconnection there, but he's just rejoined, but that will cost him a few seconds over the lap that he's just missed there. But Razin Shai out into 10th position. It will be fascinating to see what kind of pace he can emit on those soft tyres, and whether Tom97 will be a bit worried about it. Of course, Tom97 probably going to have to pit again as Meraki once again leaves the session. That's disastrous for him, but Tom, of course, has to pit again. Will he try to cover off that pit stop straight away from Razin Shai, or will he let it hang out a few more laps to have the better offset tyres towards the end of this race?
Yeah, and of course, it's those decisions you have to make in a split second. Right now, though, Tom97 still within that DRS of Skyzy at the moment, so he's relatively keeping a good pace right now. Just happy with where he is, but as you say, he has to pit again. So it's just a case of when rather than if, as we make our way through in towards that hairpin of turn 14. As Skyzy runs a little bit wide then, out of turn 14, and Tom97 wanted to try and jump onto that as soon as he possibly can. Tom97 staying out, and well, it was almost like there Tom97 just smelt blood. He was like the shark that smelled blood and tried to look a move down the inside. It's a rare mistake from Skyzy, and it's put him under that pressure from Tom97, but Skyzy just getting those tyre temperatures back into optimum range. He knows he's got the better tyre delta at this moment in time. It's just a case of making sure that he keeps that cool and concentration that he's kept for 42 laps previously. That guy Vince and Tom still having a great battle, and now Infratic has thrown his hat into the ring as well. A 3-car battle here for 4th place. Tom, that guy Vince and Infratic with the top 2, or the 2 lead drivers of that P4 battle, both on hard tyres, Infratic on the mediums.
Yeah, Meraki's still having problems getting into the session, so that will be bad for him. He'll be losing time hand over fist to Emphatic. Tom97 just choosing to lift and not overtake MSkyZ there, so he's just recognising that the battling will not help him with his fight for 2nd position, and he wants to work together with MSkyZ to extend his gap over Razin as much as possible. Razin Shai will probably set the fastest lap of all coming round. You'd presume it would, with the pace that he has with those soft tyres in this stage of the race. We'll have to see what kind of lap time he can put in, but that guy Vince right on the back of Tom here. GB68 is a few seconds ahead of these two, so not part of this equation. Emphatic in 6th, a miraculous recovery from him. Of course, he was knocked out in the first part of qualifying, and he has come back through nicely here. Sorry, it was 15th, wasn't it, that he qualified? So that guy Vince in 4th, Tom in 5th, Emphatic in 6th. On these medium tyres, medium versus hards, the tyre duration. Sometimes I do wish I had the mind of Badgerman, because he'd know exactly what was the right tyre at this moment in time with how many laps it was on. But yeah, it's interesting. I think Emphatic will just look to cling on to these two under hards, because theoretically they'd have better life at this moment and better grip.
Yeah, I think the medium tyres should be able to get it to the end. It's going to be tough for them, though, in terms of tyre management. They might have to do some tyre management, and don't be surprised to see maybe the likes of GB68, Emphatic, Chesnoid Gaming as well start to really ease off towards the end of the race, because the last thing you want at this point is a puncture. If you're on the hard tyres right now, you're easily making it to the end. That's as simple as that. So you've got Sky Z, you've got that guy Vince, Tom, they're Meraki as well. They're all going to the end. So they won't need to pit again unless there is a safety car. And of course, then it'll be a mad scrabble to get those soft tyres on. But if you're on the medium tyres right now, a safety car towards the end of this race really won't hurt.
Yeah, it really won't. I think if there's a safety car now, basically everyone would pit, barring Vaz and Shai and Peya, who would absolutely curse it, because that's exactly what they've been waiting for, as Tom again looks to get out of the slipstream and use that DRS to go up the inside. And there is a caution through Sector 2. It's a slow-moving Alex Budd, but I think he's still in the race, so he'll resume, and it will be green flags waved against once again through that middle sector, and there we are. So no scare there, but lap 45, Tom retakes that position from that guy Vince, as GB68 takes a position from Tom 97, because Tom 97 has chosen this moment to pit, and it is another pair of softs here, and it's going to be really interesting to see where he comes out in relation to the Razin Shai, who of course pitted on to those softs a few laps earlier, and Razin Shai does get ahead as the safety car comes out and nearly kills Tom 97 there. Tom 97 is going to be furious that he's caught behind it here. What is going to go on? I think he'll be allowed to go by it, but that is exactly the wrong time for Tom 97, because basically everyone around him can have a free pit stop, as Mr. Dale, who's been running up and down this field, down in 15th, gets a speeding in the pit lane penalty there. It was a drive-through for Mr. Dale. That is going to be rubbish for him. But that is a big, big change up at the end there, and I'd love to know what caused that safety car.
I think it's Ethan Woody at turn 12. He found himself in the wall and is running frontal wingless. I think that's a huge prime suspect for what the safety car was deployed for, and what that's going to do then. I mean, yeah, if you're Tom 97, I don't really know what to say. GB68, though, might have the few choice words that might be the most accurate, because that happened to him earlier on in this race, although this time he finds himself in second place, and no doubt he's going to come in through the pit to put on a fresh set of softs. If you don't at this stage, you just run the risk of trying to nurse really old tyres to the end of this race, whilst everyone else has, you know, at least 10, maybe 9 laps on fresh soft tyres to really side the way through the field, and all those gaps completely obliterated. No doubt to see Sky Z straight on goes into the pit lane. Another very busy pit lane on our hands here, but for Tom 97, maybe a lap too early. But hindsight is always 50-50, isn't it?
I think Tom 97 is probably not as badly done as Razin Shai, because he's had the best of those soft tyres. I wonder if he has another pair of softs that he can go on to fresh. Of course, he run medium, so maybe he will, maybe he won't. We'll have to see. Sky Z in the pits, and GB68 also pitting. Everyone's pitting, basically. Razin has pitted, so he is coming off of those, and presumably will go on to another pair of softs here. And yeah, this is going to be a complete reset of the field. Winners and losers, snakes and ladders. And Tom 97 does get his way back up into third position, so it only lost him a position to GB68. But Tom has stayed out, has he? Or he's gone to a pair of mediums?
No, he's on a set of mediums. He's got no softs left then. So Tom is on a set of medium tyres. In fact, a scrub set of medium tyres. Safso moves up into 9th place. So the whole field then on pretty much fresh soft tyres. Persia has decided to stay out on 4-lap-old soft tyres. So those scrub tyres will be easier to get back up to optimum temperatures, but towards the end of this race, and maybe even towards the start as well, he's going to find himself a little bit of a grip deficit. Easy for me to say. Skyzy, though, in the lead with 11 to go, 10 and a bit if you're picky, with GB68 in second place. Then it's Tom at 97 in third place with Persia in fourth. Tom in fifth place on a set of medium tyres that he has already used so far tonight. That guy Vince is in sixth place, Infratic in seventh, with Meraki in eighth, Safso ninth, and Razin Shai is in 10th place. Now, I reckon we'll have at least one more lap under the safety car to allow the field to bunch back up. But with most of the field on soft tyres, it's going to be a tough race right now for Tom in the second Alpine. Tom B, that is. We have to call him Tom B instead of Tom 97. For Tom B, it's going to be a tough race for him. Everybody around him is on a set of soft tyres. For Tom B right now, he'll just be looking to go full attack, take as much life out of his medium tyres as he possibly can to try and stay fifth place. It is going to be so tough for him to make any progress. He's got to focus on not falling too far back.
Meraki softs also 3 laps old, so they're a used pair of softs, so they don't have the best of them. Safso on 6-lap old mediums. Some of these people it's just not worked out for. Peya 4-lap old softs, just not worked out. Of course, Peya unpitted. He decided not to come into the pits here. But yeah, I think safety car will be next lap or the lap after. Nathan, I'm going to throw it to you. Do you have any clips for us at all?
I do indeed. I can give you a few. I've only got a couple because I was a little bit bogged down with trying to fix all the issues, but we got there in the end, and that's what matters. But I've got a couple of incidents that happened, and I can't lie, I've been looking at clips at the same time. So if some of them I don't remember at the time, you're gonna have to make do. But I do remember this one with Dirk, and it's kind of what happened with Dirk's race. He was up there, he was competing, and he just gets a little bit unlucky when it comes to things. He was doing really well. He was having quite a quiet, controlled race, and finding that form that Dirk had been missing for a while, and he gets spun out, and he knows who does it. It was Persia, and I can actually get you the other angle of it from Tom, who has it perfectly for me. And again, it is someone in chat who gets me this. So again, Gus17, I appreciate you making my job nice and easy today. But you can see it here. Persia just goes for this slightly audacious move, and I think it just catches the braking zone there of Dirk, and you can say it's very unfortunate for Dirk, who was having a very, very good race for himself. He's been a little bit off it over the previous few seasons, but of late he's found it. And then I'm just going to give you a quick little replay of Jake's reaction to the disconnect, because he's frantically trying to get back into the lobby. And I've had to mute the clip for reasons, but you can see it in his reaction. Slams the desk, throws the hands up, and he was not happy about that disconnect, and he felt that race has really been impacted, even though he kind of found himself in a good position, only falling down into P7, finds himself dealt within a good sort of situation with this one, but unfortunate for Meraki nonetheless.
Meraki serially has these just random internet issues. I can remember back at the start of Season 4 in Qatar, exactly the same. He could have won that race, came through and got third in the end. It's just really, really difficult for him in these situations, and it's and that's definitely not what we want to see, so we'll disable those. But yeah, I think we do have racing that's going to go again here. So MSkyZ is in first, GB68 in second, Tom 97 in third, all of those on fresh softs. Then we have Peya in fourth on those older softs, and mediums for Tom on older mediums. But it is going to be MSkyZ who yet again restarts the field. GB68 running right with him as they come around turn 16 and start lap 48, and we go racing again, and it's actually Peya who's made a move straight away on Tom, and he's going to try and go round the outside as Tom will stick it on the inside here, and that will maybe allow Tom 97 under pressure, sorry, here. So Tom 97 really having to put on the brake markers here as Tom was passed by Peya, and Peya tried to make it 2 Alpines in one straight. So Peya looking racy on those older softs, but he'll know it's difficult. But Tom 97 is losing so much ground to the 2 up front. MSkyZ will be delighted to see that his main challenger Tom 97 is losing ground here, because Peya is putting so much pressure on, and it's great teamwork from the McLaren, of course the 2 French drivers working together to give give mSkyZ the best shot at winning this race. GB68 6/10 behind mSkyZ. I wonder how long he can stay with the Frenchman. GB68 surely in his best chance to win a race since Vegas in Season 3.
Yeah, also keeping an eye on Razin as well, because he's now up into 7th place, right onto the back now of that guy Vince as we make our way through out of turn 13. He's already trying to pull alongside the Red Bull there. We've got yellow flags out there. They've quickly cleared. I think it might have been Hayden Gullis, might have been in a little bit of trouble there. But as we make our way now down that long back straight towards the hairpin, there goes Razin up the inside of the Red Bull of that guy Vince, trying to put the power down now and then. And Razin Shy not messing around. He's only got 8 laps left of this race now. He's up into 6th place. Tomby is his next target as we make our way up towards the start finish line. The Alpine then looking to try and pass that Persia. Then that's Tomby up the inside. He gets the move done then. So even though he's on those old medium tyres, he's still putting them to very, very good work. Razin then as well looking to try and take advantage. He wants to get past that McLaren now of Persia. Meanwhile, Skyzy is going to be under pressure from the Aston Martin of GB68 then as we make our way down in towards turn 6.
Yep, GB68 only 5/10 behind. Razin Shy trying to send it straight up the inside of that guy Vince as they come to turn 6 and look forward just towards Peria. Razin Shy will know that he's not fighting for first place. That's disappearing into the sunset, but he'll hope for some kind of podium. Razin Shy doesn't manage to make that move on that guy Vince. Is just shuffled behind, but that guy Vince on similarly new tyres will know that he has a good chance to go through and get that podium as well if he can get by Tom and Peria on those older and worse tyres than they are at the moment, as mSkyZ loses the lead to GB68. GB68, I think there must have been a mistake there from mSkyZ, because that is not a usual place you see an overtake. GB68 leads the Chinese Grand Prix, round 1 of Season 5, with only 7 laps to go. Can he cling on? Can he do anything to keep that race lead as Tom 97 closes that gap? And it's only 6/10 between mSkyZ and Tom 97 now.
Razin as well, trying to fight his way through then Persia, and that guy Vince then battling away as well for 5th place as Razin then gets a much better line through in towards turn 16, swoops past Persia then and makes his way up into 6th place. Now Vince is his next target, heading our way now in towards turn 1. Tom 97 joining the fray in the battle for the lead then as we make our way through in towards turn 2. Now towards turn 3 we go, and getting back onto the power then. Razin knows he's got to try and make these moves quickly and confidently. And up towards turn 6, he's draining the battery now, looking around the outside now, around turn 6 to try and pass that guy Vince. No way through that time. Maybe a little bit of switchback might be the order of the day. He has to go the long way round at turn 7 if he wants to make that move stick. That's exactly where Vince wants him then, and keeps him at bay. Peya as well now under pressure from Infratic, the Ferrari driver, looking to try and make moves late on into the race then, of course, out in Q2. But now he knows he's got a brilliant opportunity to get some solid points on the board.
Yeah, Peya in 7th, Emphatic in 8th. The Ferrari driver has had a turbulent day up and down this grid like the stock exchange, but he's currently in 8th and he's doing a sterling job for the Ferrari. An uptick in form compared to his Season 4 form, certainly on offer after that break was took. But mSkyZ now sitting behind GB68. Didn't quite have the DRS yet. I think one more lap until that happened. But now Tom 97 will sit behind and mSkyZ will sit behind. And when will they try to take the lead here? Of course, it's more advantageous to sit behind. And indeed, they do have the DRS. So the DRS flap is open. So they can close down on GB68, but they'll sit behind and they'll build up that battery for one final charge in the final 2 laps. Will mSkyZ try to go around the outside of GB68? He thinks about it, but that means Tom 97 could go up the inside, and they touched. And Tom 97 did very well to keep the car under control there as we head on to lap 51.
They're all getting close, too close for comfort here. 6 to go, and still Razin trying to now find his way past Tom. Tom's lost out here to that guy Vince as we make our way down in towards turn 6. Back on the power we go, and this is an opportunity. This is Razin, who knows he has to try and find some moves then, as I think that's Ethan Woody in the Haas who's found trouble at turn 2, trying to rejoin onto the circuit. Razin, meanwhile, knows this is a critical time of the race. He has to pass Tom B. He has to do it to try and get himself onto the back of that guy Vince and give him a chance of a top 4 finish in this race. It's so surprising to say that Razin's battling for a top 4 position, considering he's been battling for the lead for 3/4 of this race. Through in towards the turn 13 they go, and still the battle for the lead rages on as well.
Yep, mSkyZ now charging down on GB68, and he pulls up to the inside, and he's going to take this move, but GB68 is going to hang it around the outside here as they head on to the end of lap 51, and he just lose that position. Tom97 will now be really eager and anxious to get by the Aston Martin because he doesn't want to lose sight of mSkyZ, and he'll feel that GB68 doesn't maybe quite have the pace. Straight away he pulls out and maybe thinks of a move at the inside, but then he's not quite close enough into turn 1. One by one they go, all within half a second of one another. GB68 has been right fighting here at the start, then he had a terrible moment here under the second safety car that left him absolutely nowhere, and he's clawed his way back into this one through good strategy and good fortune, and he's still firmly a part of this race. A podium well on the cards here for GB68, but can he make it his first ever win in the Creator Series, or will it go to Sky Z, who hasn't won since Qatar in season 4, or will it be Tom97? Of course, took 3 wins last season, and he was qualified way down the order in P11. It's going to be a fantastic win for whoever can take it, and it is going to be decided now in the next 4 laps.
Oh, it's brilliant stuff indeed. SkyZ obviously took over the lead. I wonder if he went slightly too early, because now GB68 can sort of wait for that final DRS. It's a long straight. You're on the throttle for 20 seconds on that final lap, and if he can keep the DRS, then GB68 can try and swoop back past him. What he's got to be careful of is Tom at 97 doesn't have an idea to try and get past him. Razin, meanwhile, he got past Tom B a lap ago at turn 16 down the inside. He's looking for exactly the same move against that guy Vince. He does get that move then, so Razin moves himself up into 4th place, and now the charge is on. He's only got sort of 5 laps to try and close in 2.5 seconds. It's a heavy task, but if there's any driver that could be up to that task, Razin, with the carrot dangling in front of him, is definitely one of those.
Yeah, he'll have to get the bit between his teeth and close this one down, though, and he'll also have to fight off any kind of advances from that guy Vince, who has been a thorn in his side since this restart, and it's going to be super difficult to close down that gap. I firmly believe that mSkyZ, GB68 and Tom97 are the people who are in contention for this win, unless there is a force majeure moment where Razin Shai can swing his way back into it. And look at that, you can just start to see the semblance of a gap appearing between mSkyZ and GB68. 6/10 is the gap. Tom97 now looking to put pressure on the Aston Martin driver, because he knows if that gap grows above a second, mSkyZ will be able to manage it and extend it. And we've seen it early in the race, extend, even on older soft tyres. He has the knowledge and the track knowledge to do it. So he will be really focused here to make this move down into turn 16, because the gap has extended nearly to 7/10 there as they rounded out turn 13, and it will be DRS open for both GB68 and Tom97, but the gap being 2/10, it will be an opportunity for Tom97 to close. But actually it's GB68 who uses battery power and burn to go up the inside of the McLaren there and do a late charge, and he came from absolutely nowhere there. He must have absolutely dumped the battery to try and get in front of Sky Z, but Sky Z manages to hold on. Will Sky Z have to defend from him yet again? Meraki's left the session once again. That's disaster for him down in 7th, but GB68 not managing to get by mSkyZ. That was a huge dump of battery to try and retake the lead.
It was, but he's still got a third of the battery left, so he's still got power on his side as well. I think that was a case of just trying to make sure he closes up to SkyZ again, because now he's got to try and harvest that DRS. That ERS, what he's got to try and have up his sleeve with only 3 laps to go, 2 and a bit if you're picky. It's all going to be decided on that back straight. If you have the DRS on that straight, you have a huge chance of taking a move in towards turn 14 and taking over the lead of this race. GB68 knows that. Tom97 knows that, and I'm sure Sky Z knows that as well. It's a huge strategic battle on our hands here, and all 3 of these drivers know that you need to be the second car in the DRS queue to have a chance of getting a move down in towards turn 14. They all know that. It's all going to be a strategy to figure out who's going to be that person.
Yep, lap 54. We're about to go on to the penultimate lap here. What been an absolutely enthralling opening round here for the Season 5 F1 Creator Series Championship. We're here every single week throughout the year on Saturday, 6 p.m. as GB68 goes for the move early doors. He's not waiting around. He wants to get right by and stick in front of MSkyZ and maybe hope Tom97 and MSkyZ come together and slow each other down as they fight. GB68 leads with 2 laps to go. This is sensational.
Yeah, he's taken the lead, but the driver in me, the strategist in me, thinks, is that slightly too early? Well, GB has certainly just got to throw the kitchen sink. Throw in the kitchen sink as well. It's Tom97. He senses the opportunity to try and pass SkyZ. Then he's been put to the outside, though, of turn 3. Can't quite get the move done there, but that's exactly what GB68 wanted, for SkyZ and Tom97 to start having a battle of their own. Heading in towards turn 6 we go. We're on lap 55, the penultimate lap of this race. Razin is also 1.9 seconds behind, with the trio up ahead battling in front of him. It's allowed him to try and close in. It's not enough to catch the top 3 by the DRS zone, but if they keep battling, that's only going to help Razin even more.
It could be any one of these 3 drivers who wins this race. Everyone has a firm chance of it. They're about to go onto the final lap. We have 2 more stabs of this 1 kilometre long straight. MSkyZ now 4 tenths behind GB68, and he'll look to have DRS and close down the gap. Now it'll be fascinating to see if he goes for the move or if he'll feel he'll be forced into the move because Tom97 is coming, and Tom97 certainly is starting to deploy the battery and close down that gap. 8 thousandths of a second between them, and they're so close. GB68 has to defend on the inside. It gets very, very squirrely under braking, and MSkyZ here now sitting right behind GB68. 1/10 is the gap. He's going to be in the pole position here as they come onto the final lap, and in the pound seat surely as they get the DRS. And GB68 again goes defensive into turn 1. MSkyZ around the outside. Is this a move for the race lead? GB68 sticks it up the inside. We've seen MSkyZ and Razin battle here throughout the race. GB68 now having the taste of the MSkyZ medicine, and GB68 has lost first position, but he will be in second going down that DRS straight, but he doesn't want to. He wants to take the place now straight up the inside at turns 6, and that is impressive, but I think that could be detrimental to him because he's lost a little bit of a gap, but it's all going to be that final DRS straight here. Yeah,
I think it's a case of GB maybe wasn't attacking SkyZ, but actually trying to make sure he defended from Tom97. It was a weird catch-22 scenario for GB68, but as we make our way now onwards on towards turn 11 into the final sector of the final lap here of the Chinese Grand Prix for the Creator Series. What a season opener this has been, and it's all going to be decided in the next few corners. Around turn 13 we go, and this has certainly been a turn of the afterburners on for SkyZ, heading down the straight, the back straight for the final time.
Yep, it's ERS burn for all of them, and it's DRS open for GB68. MSkyZ knows it. He defends the hard inside. There's a clattering of wheels between the two, and MSkyZ has just pushed the Aston Martin a little bit, but the MSkyZ looks to maybe take this lead. He is going to be at the inside. GB68 thinks about it, but he just backs out, and it's going to be MSkyZ who wins the first race. GB68 just getting the line in front of Tom97. GB68 second. It's so difficult for him. He's always the bridesmaid. He's never quite got enough for the race win. Tom97 in third, Razin Shai in fourth, 1.6 seconds behind. That guy Vince in fifth, and sixth is Tom. That was an unbelievable finish.
Wow, that was amazing. If we have a whole season of that, I'm here every week. What a brilliant race that was. SkyZ taking that lead, and GB68 in second place, Tom97 in third. In fact, the 3 of them, the trio, what a final lap battle we had. It's so easy to get sucked into this mindset where if there's a late safety car, everyone goes onto the soft tyres, that it's every driver for themselves, and it's, you know, moves down the inside, it's dive bombs here, there and everywhere. That was a pure example there of a last 9 lap sprint to the line that had all the respect of everything and all the close racing as well combined with it. All three of them deserve to win that race just on that battling alone, but it's SkyZ that comes out on top and wins the first race of Season 5 of the Creator Series.
I've had to unzip this, roll up my sleeves. It has got hot in this booth. Because
That's just the race.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable race. And we are here every single week. I tried to give it a big up, but GB68 decided to go for a move early. We're here every single week. Please drop a follow to our socials above and drop a follow to our channel, because this is the best of the Creator Series. This is what it's like nearly all the time, and it's so fantastic that we now have F2 and F1 to enjoy on a Saturday afternoon. But it is MSkyZ who takes back-to-back wins in the first round of the season in the F1 Creator Series, and it's the first win in his McLaren outfit, of course, winning on his debut for McLaren. That's quite a thing for the Frenchman, and we'll be talking to them after the race, certainly. GB68 really battled hard through that, had contact early on with the likes of Tom and Razin, but safety cars were fortunate for him. They came out at the right time, and that meant that he was part of that fight. And thrilling as it was, I really thought he was going to send it into turn 16 there. Tom 97 did really well. He battled back from 12th place on the grid. So fantastic work.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Can we do that race again? That was phenomenal stuff. Absolutely. The top three separated by 0.4 of a second. Just remarkable. And you have to say, fair play to Razin Shai as well, because he was up there battling with SkyZ for 3/4 of that race. That final safety car really put a spanner into the works of his race, but he battled back to 4th place. That's an important 12 points for him as well. And maybe, given that 2 more laps, maybe, he'd have been up there with that top 3 battle as well. In the end, he only finished 1.6 seconds behind the battling trio. So brilliant stuff there. Tom as well, on those old medium tyres. I say, they were 3-lap old medium tyres. They were scrub that he put on. He didn't have any soft tyres left in that one. Still managed to hold on to finish in 6th place. So a really good performance from him. But I mean, that was absolutely brilliant. I love that.
It was sensational. We're going to go over to Nathan. Do you have anything for us on the clipbook? You're on mute.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
Not
you
mine.
are no longer on mute, but we can hear you now.
I wasn't on mute.
The
on mine
imagining
either.
it's technical gremlins all over the place. Let's move on. Clipbook. Let's go for it.
Clipbook. I mean, I've only got a couple because honestly, I was so focused on that end of the race that I kind of lost my way and just started to enjoy the racing at hand. And I think that's kind of what you guys had to do. But I've only got a couple, and I'm gonna start with a pretty sad one actually, because I think he's not going to be happy with this himself, and he'd done a real good job, Fabio, to kind of recover this race and get himself into that sort of area where he said he'd get to when we had that interview early on. He said around about P7, P8, if my I think it's sent over. I can't really tell at the moment, but I'm going to play it anyway just in case. But he just goes a little bit too on his accelerator a bit early on. He's probably not happy. It's that battle right at the end between him and Nagira, really looking for that opportunity. Goes onto the accelerator just a little bit too early, a little bit of a slide, a little bit of a wobble, and it opens up a window of opportunity for Nagira to find that P7 in a very, very good race from both him and Infratic, but unfortunate for him. And then I'm going to give you just one final clip, and it is going to be the reaction of SkyZ when he made that move. And it was such a beautiful little battle between him and GB. And I think GB goes a little bit too wide and is forced a little bit wide by SkyZ. That really kind of opened up that opportunity to SkyZ to get the lead. And as you said, I thought GB was also going to look for the dive down into turn 16, but he didn't decide to do it. And SkyZ cheering with joy, happy about that one, and a very, very impressive race. You know, he had to fight his way through the grid so many times. You know, that battle with Razin that we saw, battle with GB, he had it with Tom as well. So impressive from him. And to come out with a victory, you have to say, well done to the Frenchman.
Absolutely. Nathan, who would you say is your driver of the day today?
It's so hard to say because I think so many people had really impressive races. Someone that I think has kind of gone under the radar today, and again, he always does these consistent races of late whenever I've been here, is Vince. Putting himself up into P5 is just, he's really kind of grown into the series of late, especially over the last season or so. I've seen a lot more impressive showings from Vince, and I've been really impressed with him, but I have to give it to GB. You know, he was so close And he even himself, when we get the chance to interview him, will say he knows the exact moment where he lost that race. It was minute details that really put him in a bad thing. He said he got a bad exit in his chat. He was telling his chat if he'd got a slightly better exit in turn 14, he would have been on it and he would have looked to make that move. And that race could have ended in a completely different way. But yeah, for me, it's between GB and Vince, but I'm going to give it to GB because he has impressed me throughout the race.
Yeah, I mean, you're thinking GB. Who was your driver today, Kieran?
I think I'm going to have to agree with Nathan there. GB, I mean, it was that, I think it was the first safety car where he pitted in early on. He waited for those soft tyres, sort of waiting for that second safety car of the race. It never came until the lap after he pitted. And then that sent him all the way down the order, had to make a strategic change from that point onwards. But he really kept his cool in there. Showed that sort of maturity you need as a driver in these 100% races, got himself in with a chance of battling for the lead of the race and had the pace to stay there as well. Definitely GB deserves that, he's won my vote, that's for sure.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to go over and we are going to have interviews from the podium runners. So we're going to have Tom97, who's going to join us first for his interview. And what a magnificent race that was. Starting in 12th position, Tom97, in your first ever full-time Creator Series race. Talk us through that race for us.
A lot of fun, learning on the fly, as we always do. Really enjoyed it. First time I played the game in nearly 3 weeks, so it was nice to hop on, have a nice little race, and yeah, just listen. It is what it is. That was classic Creator Series. What, 5 safety cars? So right tyre, right time. That's pretty much all you can do in these things.
Yeah, I mean, you were consistently near the top. Some safety cars didn't work out well for you. Some worked out better. I mean, the fifth one, the final one came out literally right in front of you. What were you thinking when you pitted and you saw that safety car message come out as you were leaving the pits? Were you frustrated? Because you did end up losing that position to GB68 through the pits because of that, and you did end up finishing behind it.
Yeah, pretty much. For a split second, I was like, "Oh, lovely. Okay, that's decent." But then I thought, actually, Delta can't push. We're in trouble here. To be fair, I thought it was going to be worse. I thought more cars would have got me. So I was thankful that it was just GB. I mean, to be fair, credit to GB as well. He was fantastic. So I enjoyed battling him at the end, and I enjoyed it. It was a fun race. I was trying some different things. Like I knew GB probably looking behind me might have been a bit nervous, so I was trying to use that to basically get him to attack Sky. So I was kind of like edging close on the straight with a bit of battery, just let him know that I'm there, and I was trying to force him to basically have those two battle away. And it almost worked out at the hairpin at the last lap. Almost worked out. GB went like super deep. Sky drifted on the apex, but I just couldn't quite get through, which was a shame. But it was good fun.
Kieran, you got anything?
Yeah, I was going to say, Tom, it was, as you say, a Creator Series classic with the 5 safety cars, right tyre at the right time. But it has to be said, you battled up and down the field, and you had to do a lot of battling with that Q2 exit. I mean, just talk us through that. What happened on your qualifying run?
I took a gamble, so I tried to go through on a set of softs. Basically, I used a set in Q1, did a single flyer, got through. I then used those tyres twice in Q2, so I tried to basically get through on that exact same tyre. The first run I got blocked by Nogueira, so I had to abandon. And then I had about 10%, so I thought, I'm going to go one more time, try one more time. And I set a lap that just simply wasn't good enough. I made one mistake at the hairpin, which cost me probably a valuable 10th, and that was the price. So it is what it is.
And obviously starting from P11 outside of that top 10, when you're sitting on the grid there, what's going through your mind? Is this a case of anything can happen? I could challenge for that win.
Yeah, I mean, you could win this time from last. I mean, especially with that many safety cars today, it was one of them races where my first instinct was, okay, someone's read up straight away. I've not got the right tyre on my car. I wanted to start in softs, not mediums. And I was like, okay, let's just play the long game. We'll get past a couple of people that I know that I'm quicker than, and then we'll just see how the race goes. And I just wasn't in a rush. The reality is I've not played this game a lot lately. I've done no practice, so I just wanted to basically build up my confidence and just get comfortable, see what the setup was. And then after like 10, 12 laps, I had a good baseline so I could start to push and make inroads. So it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic. You're now a full-time driver on the Creator Series. Do do you see yourself going for that Creator Series Championship? Do you think? Of course, you had 3 wins last season. You ended up 7th in the standings when you only did 6 of the races. Do you think a championship charge is inevitable?
It's on the list, but the reality is, I will be missing a few races soon, so I don't know how many either. That's the big question mark I have. So depending on how many races I do miss, that will answer that question. So what I can do is basically get as many results as possible from now until then.
Right, okay, score points, see where you are when you return.
Pretty much, yeah. Basically, damage limitation now rather than later.
Well, anyway, thank you very much for joining. Congratulations on your podium. It's not going to be first, not going to be your last, but you know, they all count, and it's fantastic to have you full time in the series. We're going to move over to someone who's been here since the start and still chasing that elusive win. Is GB68, and he came so close today. GB, tell us where it went wrong that race. Tell us where it went very right.
No, I don't want to hear any of it. I don't want to hear any references to Vegas or me bottling previous races. We don't talk about that. No, it was a great fight at the end. I think I was just saying to Skyzy then, if a safety car hadn't come out, I was nailed on for a P2. Skyzy was nailed on for P1. I suppose we finished in our rightful positions, but that mistake coming out of the, I just kind of ran a little bit wide. I think too early on the throttle, understeered wide on the long right-hander before the straight. That cost me a couple tenths, and because Skyzy had about 10% more battery than me, I got alongside as he saw, but I just wasn't able to get kind of in front enough to be able to make that move stick.
And you were thinking about a move into the final corner? You had a look?
Yeah, I was like, it's final lap. It's my first race win potentially. You can't not have a look. You can't just yield and sit behind there. Skyzy obviously took the racing line, so I was like, hey, if there's a gap there, it's not a corner you send it, but let's see if he makes a mistake. Stick my nose down the inside. No, it wasn't to be. Yeah, what a race. I hope that was a good spectacle for everyone, because from my perspective, it had everything. And I got to say as well, I was apologizing for probably the whole first half of the race for the murders on Razin and Tom.
I did say who were you going to kill next at one point.
So the one on Razin was because the brake boards were gone, and obviously they were there on the right, so I did have a reference point after that, but I came along not knowing they were destroyed, and my reference points had gone, so I completely missed my brakes and hit the back of Razin. The one on Tom was just me locking my rears, and yeah, apologies for that one. That was not what we want to see, but at least the safety cars kind of spiced that up and, you know, helped them out too. So yeah.
It's fair to say you rolled the dice here in China, not Vegas. Sorry. Anyway, we saw in sort of the safety car strategy classic way in Creator Series, so many of them in there, and the second one really caught you out because it was right at the tail end of your strategy. You decided to pit in, get rid of those soft tyres. The lap later, the safety car comes out. Honest reaction, possibly censored if possible?
No, honestly, I was so... Because I'd taken out both Tom and Razin at that point, and I literally said, chat, you know what? Maybe that is some form of F1... The F1 gods giving me a bit of karma there, because it literally, as you said, could not have been worse timed if it had tried. So, yeah, I was like, look, maybe that's my punishment for the race. Let's get my head down. Let's make some overtakes. And I got to say, I don't know if it was that restart or it was one of the restarts where I was quite far down, but we were just overtaking through the pack. The battling with all the drivers was so fun today. It was awesome. I thought the sound of the racing was really good.
It was so fun to sort of commentate over it, let alone be a part of it. I mean, 3-way battle for the lead, 9 laps. That must just go by in a flash. All those split-second decisions just seem to fly by.
So obviously outside of this, I do a 4-player career, my teammate with Alex Gillen. He popped up in chat towards the end, and I was like, right, I know he's going to troll me here. I'm not going to let my chat put me off. I was like, head down, just fight with these 2 drivers, conserve your battery, and it should be fireworks for the finish. And you saw a few mistakes from Skyzy in there as well, a couple from myself. I don't know what Tom's ERS was like, but I think we were kind of all managing on a similar level. It was a good, hard-fought 3-way fight at the end.
Yeah, I mean, thank you very much for joining. I mean, the constructors, you were narrowly missed out on the constructors last year, and it was really because of that incident with Sasso that it wasn't his fault. With the Aston Martin pace this season, constructors, is it something you're interested about going for again? Is it something you feel like you and Sasso can kind of work together to kind of get that crown that was kind of snatched away from you quite cruelly last time out?
Oh, 100%. Well, my first reaction when Saf was announced as my season 5 teammate again was like, yes, this is the one. This is the season. The only thing I would say is quite clearly the possibly favourites, but certainly they're going to be a very strong team. Is Tom Squared, as I'm calling them, 2 Toms. They're going to be.
I told you there was a name in there somewhere. I told you.
Yeah, you did.
GB found it.
So yeah, so look out for Tom Squared. I think they're going to be pretty strong in the championship. Providing Tom 97 can attend most of the races, he'll be up there, and so will the other Tom too. So yeah, it should be spicy. I'm really looking forward to this one. I just hope that season 5 ends similar to season 4, where we get a 2 championship fight towards the end, which, if today's anything to go by, it looks like the order could be mixed up.
Not too similar to season 4 though. So you don't want your teammate crashing out in a final race.
No, I don't want that. Please, yeah, let's leave that part out.
Well, congratulations on P2. It's another P2. The race win is coming. I'm sure it is. It's going to come soon. It's got to come.
Thank you, guys.
It's got to come. But yeah, thank you very much for joining. Now we are going to go over to our race winner, which is Sky Z, who came. You were always at the front today, Sky Z. You were always fighting at the top, and you ended up holding out and outlasting everyone. How does it feel to win the first race of season 5?
Bonsoir. It feels amazing. It does feel amazing. I'm still shaking right now. Perfect qualifying. The race was quite far from perfect. The game threw everything at me with the safety cars, the battles. We had so much fun over the course of the race. Like, I don't know if you watched it, but with Razin we got like
you were too wide for about
laps.
7 laps. It was incredible.
7 laps.
At 7 laps, maybe too many, but you were too wide for a very long time.
Yeah, it was definitely one of my best battles I ever had with someone. Possibly the best race I ever had with my wheel. So yeah, I'm very, very, very happy to bring this win home. After so much bad luck last season, we finally made it possible with a good race pace, and France is at the top of the Creator Series, both in F2 and in F1, which is the most important thing.
Yes, you and Unstop Rob, absolutely unstoppable, are the French. And just quickly like that, your teammate Peya, another Frenchman of course, put so much pressure on Tom 97 off the start of that safety car restart. Do you think that helped you maintain the race lead and maybe even give you the race win?
It's hard to tell because I was very comfortable both in the second stint and in the last stint. When I was on hards, I was quite comfortable with the tires. Like I knew Razin and Tom had to pit again, and the worst possible was a safety car, and we got a safety car for not a single reason, but still it was very stressful. How to read everyone's strategy. I feel like putting the hards after the third safety car maybe was maybe the best strategy, which I did. But after that, it was very like just a question of time of having someone in the wall or VSC safety car. Otherwise, it would have been easier to win. But I'm very happy with the final battle we had with GB and Tom. Like last lap battle, last lap going for the move, going into the hairpin with rear locking, and still managing to take the corner as much as possible. But yeah, very very happy to take those 25 points, and yeah, so much happy. And I'm still shaking. I'm so exhausted.
Well, I will say they are very hard-earned 25 points, because not only did we have the 9-lap sprint between yourself, GB, and GB and Dago Vince. Tom 97, that's it.
That geezer. He was ages ago.
Yeah, it was so 9 laps ago. It's because that guy Vince is in the interview waiting room, and my mind's scrambled just from watching those 9 laps. But you also had that great battle with Razin, as Gareth has already alluded to, too wide for a good handful of laps. It just seemed like you were leading the way. You're always at the sort of the front there, but you always had someone really to battle. Apart from that very first stint where you just seemed to pull away from everybody. So I can understand why you're so every shaking. You know, the adrenaline's going through you because that was incredible.
Yeah, definitely. With Razin, it was so intense, so enjoyable because we are a racer. Obviously, I'm happy to win, but I'm way more happier to actually get a good battle on track. So it's been so hard to get a good battle on track recently, with me doing some mistakes here and there. But yeah, Razin and me, we kept it all together for like 5, 6, 7 laps. I don't know, but it was so amazing. I don't know if we will do the same next week at Baku, but we will try. We will try.
Please try, because that's a rivalry going up there, that's for sure, because yourself and Razin there giving us so much great battling for about 3/4 of the race as well. You're pretty much matched for pace. Is that someone you could really compare yourself to for the rest of the season? Is that someone you think you could get in a regular battle with?
Yeah, definitely. Razin is the main opponent from what I see. Tom also, but Tom is not really practicing much because otherwise it's too quick for us. So he's taking it a bit easier than the previous season. But yeah, Razin is a bit like the opposite of me. Very quick on race pace, a bit less in the quali, and I will just say a bit because he already done so much very nice pole positions, but it's like a bit more opposite to me. And we always found each other on track, and I will make sure every battle is clean and fair. So yeah, I just hope to beat everyone because I want to be champion for one season. But yeah, Razin is my main rival, and I want to beat him, and I just want to beat him before he goes to play with a wheel and without the assist. So with that, he will obviously lose a bit of pace. That's obvious. So before that, I want to battle with him fair and square. Yeah, square. I don't know if it's the expression, but yeah, clean and fair.
Spot on, fair and square. Gareth, that sounds like a great rivalry we've got building up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you battled for third for the last 2 seasons. You ended up 4th in both of those. Just finally, do you think this could be your year? You switched teams with Razin. Are you going to be cooking and finally beat him in the championship?
Well, I got so much bad luck over the course of the last 2 seasons. So I won't say I'm the only one to get bad luck because this is not true. But if I can go for like 10 races without something crazy, it could be possible at the end. We'll see, because Ben was missing today. Meraki is having fun with the last two first. Tom wasn't practicing. Razin got a bit unlucky with the safety car's timing, and so it's too early to say, too early to tell, but I will do the maximum possible.
Well, wonderful stuff, SkyZ, and we'll let you go. Have fun at Baku next week. Please keep bringing the action like you did today, because it was absolutely textbook Creator Series. And yeah, we're always glad to have you up in the booth. When it was bad luck or good luck, I'm very glad to see you take the race win today. And hopefully this could be the start of a great championship drive for yourself. And I tell you what, we're going to go in and we're going to have one more interview. I've been told only to keep it to podium drivers, but there's one more person I want to speak to, who is, of course, that guy Vince, who was so incredible in that race. It'd be rude not to talk to him. And he did such wonders, fighting with Razin Shai at the end there. An incredible race, a top 5 position for yourself, that guy. Vince, talk us through it.
Where do I begin? It was a tricky start to the race. I chose to go for a low downforce setup, which was always going to be difficult in qualifying, first of all. I know the guys, were running high downforce, so I'd expected them to be strong in qualifying. And yeah, it did work out. I think I did the best I could, a P5 in qualifying in a low downforce setup. I was very pleased with. And I think I kind of controlled that for a long time. We made some good moves. The early stints were obviously very tricky as well. But on that final stint, with the safety car coming out, it made things really tricky. Because I knew that these guys would have so much grip through the corners, but I knew I'd have them on the straights. And yeah, I think on another day, it's one of those where you can look back on it and be like, oh, so close to a podium and the top 3. It would be my second one, of course, if I did it. So yeah, a little bit disappointing not to get onto the podium today. But I know that the pace is there. That's the main thing, and hopefully in Baku we can actually find that podium.
And you've got, of course, your teammate Dirk Chocolate, an improved ticker form for himself. Does that spur you on for Team Red Bull for Season 5?
Yeah, I think personally, the pressure that he'll put on me is going to be a lot, going to be very necessary, that's for sure, to make sure I keep my Red Bull seat. But yeah, for the team, we need Dirk up there, really. We want to fight at the top, just like Red Bull do in real life. So we want to be up there. We want to be pushing podiums. We want to be pushing each other on to get that maximum position. So yeah, hopefully we can see Dirk up there. But I don't actually know what happened to Dirk during that race, because in qualifying he was doing quite well, but in the race it didn't quite work out or something. I'm not sure.
I think he did look he had one safety car that gave him luck. The rest of them weren't
bad
good
luck
for him, I think.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah, Vince, I just want to say as well, because you mentioned about choosing a strategy, your sort of low downforce setup. A track like Shanghai in China, it's a track that's got a little bit of everything. You've got the low speed corner, the hairpins, you've got the mid speed corners, turns 7 and 8, which sort of is like a Malaysia style high speed circuit. And then, of course, you've got the long back straight towards turn 14, where you're on the throttle for at least 20 seconds. I mean, what makes you decide sort of a setup without giving too much away, obviously? Well, what's the sort of deciding factor you think, yep, it's low downforce for me?
I think it's all about finding your own limit, really. I think a lot of people do go for that safety aspect about what they know is consistent. But there has to be that element of that risk factor at some point. You have to be understanding that you do need to find, when you run that lower downforce, you're going to be quick on the straights, but you are going to be compromising the corner. And the more you can limit that compromisation, the faster you're going to be over the race. So it is that element of understanding where your limit is, but you have to sometimes go past that limit to really, really try and push. And that's what I had to do today. I knew that if I want to take it to the guys at the top this season, I have to find that limit. So that's the aim of the season for me, is to keep doing that.
Is to keep doing that. And, we had such a fantastic race. 56 laps just flew by, just for myself and Gareth, let alone for yourself. I mean, 5 safety cars. Obviously, Creator Series does like to bring up safety cars here, there, and everywhere. You must be used to that right now. So going into that, what's the sort of strategy? How does that affect your starting tyre, for example?
Notoriously, we do sometimes see early safety cars, as we saw today. That lap 3 safety car kind of. It was one of those safety cars that doesn't really do anything. Everyone just sort of sits back and goes, okay, now what? We just have to sit here and wait for it to all clear up, essentially. But, you're always looking at things like your fuel. A track like China, the barriers are far away from the circuit. So going into it, I was under the initial impression that maybe we would actually get that many safety cars, and I was wrong, very wrong. But yeah, you got under the impression that they're not thinking of there's not going to be any safety cars, so maybe you put more fuel in, because China notoriously also a fuel burning track. When I was doing practice earlier, I think inside 5 or 6 laps I burned through about 0.2 laps of fuel over. So I was thinking about the fuel, I was thinking about the setups, I was thinking about the tires. You ask about the tires, but when it comes out so early like that, it doesn't really matter, because it just kind of extends the stint some tiny bit. So but throughout the race, sometimes you get lucky, sometimes it's right when you need to pit and the safety car comes out. And no, that worked out for me on the second safety car, I think it was. For some people it didn't work out. GB, it didn't work out early on. Ryzen didn't work out late on. It's just one of those gambles that you have to play with, really, when it comes to F1 and racing.
And a strong haul of points there for Vince, Gareth?
Yeah, a very strong haul. And I tell you what, any podiums this year? Can you feel them?
I would love it. I would love to do another Mexico reincarnation with a bit of drama at the end, and ourselves just scraping that podium on 20-lap-old tires. It'll be tough, because this year's grid, I think, is probably one of the strongest. Not this year. This season, is one of the strongest we've seen in Creator Series. So if I do get a podium, I think it will mean more than the previous one, that's for sure.
What I loved about that Mexico win, Mexico podium was just finally, is everyone else was like, oh, but you were like, yeah.
Yeah, so you gotta take those. You gotta take those. You can't complain about them.
Yeah. Well, great to have you in the box, and best of luck for the rest of the season, that guy Vince. And that has been a really, really fascinating opening round in the Creator Series. Nathan, I'm going to throw it over to you first to wrap this one up. What do you take away from today's first race, both F2 and F1? And you're muted again. The strange mute problem. just talk a bit more and wiggle a few things,
Oh,
and that you're back, and now you're
evidently
unmuted.
So, yeah, this is great. No, what I was trying to say before Discord decided not to like me, apparently, which is not liked us throughout the broadcast. So the first thing I would say is we apologise for the technical difficulties throughout. They just happen, and we do our best to fix them on the fly, and there's not really much we can do. So thanks for sticking with us whilst we worked our way through them, and hopefully you didn't leave us after those. But no, honestly, what we've learned is this is going to be the most competitive season of the Creator Series we've had, because everyone is minute details away from each other, and we saw that in that last sort of 4-lap battle between SkyZGB and Tom97. Everyone is competing to be the best in the Creator Series, and it just shows that, you know, the guys can have fun with it. We can all enjoy a bit of racing, but the competition is what is at heart for all of them. And safe to say that for sure I'm going to be watching every week if I'm not on the broadcast, and enjoying it every single week for sure.
I mean, I echo those words as well, Nathan. It has been phenomenal. This race especially has just had a little bit of everything. You know, you had the safety car mayhem. It was a case, as Tom said, of being on the right tyre at the right time. And even Tom B at the end there for Team Tom Squared, love that name, GB, going to use it from now on. What he said as well was just making sure right tyres at the right time, but also just maybe a little bit of luck on your side. And well, it gave us a 9-lap shootout, top 3 battling away for the win. It also gave us a chance to see Razin make his way back up to 4th place, fighting his way back from 10th place within 9 laps. An incredible drive there. Vince as well holding out his own. Tom B holding on to some strong points, having had to go onto the medium tyres. He had no softs left to run. It just had everything, that race, and I echo Nathan especially. I'm going to be watching this every week, even if I'm not here in the commentary box, having the pleasure to sort of shout over it, I guess.
Yeah, and if you're new here and you want to be here every single week, please follow us on our Twitch channel, which you're watching us on right now, or YouTube, or X, or all the other places that we stream. There's also our socials right above us that, you know, you can follow us on. You'll see lots of clips and insight throughout the week. And also there's our socials. Nathan, why don't you tell us where we can find you?
It's standard for me. It's just on my Twitter, on my X, and that is at esportswalker. Two R's on the end of Walker, another R on the end of Walker. Find me on there, talk to me about amazing things. I do some interesting stuff within F1 and F1 sim racing. So happy to chat with everyone over there on my Twitter, of course.
And Kieran, what about yourself?
Yeah, mine is KS McGinley. Luckily, it's half of it's written down there, but just add a K and an S in front of McGinley, and you'll find me.
Fantastic. And I'm Gareth Allen TV on all the social media gubbins. Those ones up there, just not the F1 Creator Series. But yeah, it's been a fantastic opening round. It's been a fantastic opening day in the Creator Series for 2024. Season 5 is set to be a cracker. If all the races like that, then we'll probably all run out of breath in the commentary booth. But thank you very much for everyone who's watched today, everyone who's struggled along with the technical difficulties with us. Thank you for informing us. Thank you for bearing with us. And we will be looking forward to seeing you for both F2 and F1 at Baku next week. We'll be back at 4:30 for F2. Thank you very much, and we will see you very soon.